Welcome in, everybody. We're about to explore this great... You know what? Fuck this movie, Murray. We've been talking Top Gun. Neither of us have seen it. We just look at the cast. We have to do Top Gun right now.
Yeah, let's do that.
We're just gonna
make it up in our heads. We've never seen. I played the video game. I beat it.
How long did it take you?
Not that long.
Not that long?
That was an easy one to figure out.
Because I can remember the days of taking that little brick and hitting those fucking buttons and mashing the shit out of them.
When you play it that way.
Is that not how you play it? I put the controller on my lap and I use 3 fingers to do the D-pad.
Probably why you can never beat anything, because you play it like a piano. You gotta play it like a game controller.
I mean, I don't know.
Top Gun, yeah. It's what would your what do they call it? Call signal, code name? What would that be?
Oh yeah, because
like
there's I saw Hollywood, Iceman.
Goose.
Oh,
Goose. Who picked Goose is their fucking name?
Because they're vicious. Geese are vicious. So he probably hissed at some people a couple times. They're like, "You're Goose." Excuse me. Well, Millie wants her name. It's going to be loud and obnoxious. Can you stop? Hello. All right.
What would it be, Griff?
I think mine would be Bug.
Bug?
Yeah, man. Bug.
Why?
I don't know. You just asked. I didn't know. You asked me to.
Not even a specific bug, just generic
just
name
Bug.
Like Bug.
What would your be? Come on, go ahead. I want the backstory too.
Bitch slapper.
Bitch.
That would be my name. It just sounds tough.
Equal
opportunity. I'll slap a bitch or a man. I don't care.
Okay. Now, where you take? Are you taking the rear or are you taking the front? Where are you on the triangle here of the flying?
Of course I'm in the front. Bitch slapper. Bugs stay in the back. Bugs wind up on people's windshields. That's not a good fucking name. Think about that shit. How about Bug Zapper?
Hey, look, like all good nicknames, that just happened to be.
You would be my co-pilot that dies, and I have to I feel like I killed you. Like, you'd be my goose. Your goose would be cooked.
God damn it! I'd be your martyr. I would die to give you the courage.
I would feel guilty because I had something to do with it, and then I'd have to I don't even know the premise of fucking Top Gun. I've never seen it.
Yeah, no idea.
We might have to do it because it is Pride Month, and it's the gayest movie ever made.
It is the gayest movie ever made, and so everyone's telling us it's a secret recruitment technique for the military or whatever. What would you say it was? The Air Force?
Yeah,
probably Air Force.
Yeah, probably because they're flying. Yeah,
yeah. So, it's secretly recruiting. No, we all know what it's about. That volleyball scene gives it all away.
Right. It's about gays recruiting. That's all they do. All you gays do, you just recruit.
Yeah, and it was right after that Fauci said, hey, guys, the AIDS epidemic is real.
It blew up right after Top Gun came out. I wonder why. Because all these straight guys who don't know how to have safe gay sex were just fucking butts everywhere and spreading it everywhere.
Oh,
we blame the gays. It's really the straight gay guys.
That's gotta be it. There's gotta be some science behind this, and thank God for the internet nowadays, where we just made that up, but we could probably go find a wiki article to back it up. So, facts don't lie.
Facts don't lie.
That's right. But
unfortunately, we're here to talk about. We do this all the time. We go, hey, Griff. There's a movie neither of us have seen.
Yeah.
It can't be that bad. It can't be worse than Highlander 2, The Quickening.
Yeah. I mean, all I'm going to think about this whole time is Top Gun. But, yeah. I can't imagine there's going to be a worse movie than The Quickening. But
they did it.
You hear me out. Hear me out. Neither of us have seen any of these new Star Wars, right?
I've seen them. I've forgotten them all.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
What happened with the Highlander is basically what happened to the Star Wars series, where they did Highlander 2, and they tried to do some really weird shit with it, and it was very bad.
They're from the planet Zetarand, I think.
Yeah,
is where they're
it
from.
was very
They're
bad.
aliens.
But at least they tried really hard to make a really bad movie. There was even the nacho cheese dip that we love so much. I'll have to show you that because you apparently don't remember.
No, I don't.
You got your mind blinked out.
I remember Bird Guys.
You're just too busy thinking about volleyball and driving your plane,
spiking your balls,
spiking balls. But then they do the Highlander 3, which was their attempt, like in the new Star Wars movies, to just be like, none of that other shit ever happened. Or even with each sequel in this third run of Star Wars movie, where they were like, we have no idea why that guy did that. We're going to change it for the second movie. We have no idea why that guy did that.
My favorite part of the last Star Wars movie was the Emperor comes. Spoiler: the Emperor is alive again. He comes back, and this is their explanation. The Emperor is back. We don't know why. And they never even explain it. It was just like, fuck it, we don't know.
That's perfect.
Yeah, but the Highlander 3, it's not even referred to as Highlander 3. It's either Highlander, the Final Dimension, which makes absolutely no sense. There's no dimension traveling in this movie.
Yeah.
Or in Europe, it was called Highlander the Sorcerer, which kind of makes sense.
Right.
But this movie is basically saying 2 never happened. They erased 2.
I feel
this
like...
This is 2.1.
I feel like Stuart, go back and listen to our Highlander 2 episode with Great Stuart, gave us the full synopsis of what the fuck happened between these two movies.
He had all... Well, I think he had the director's cut of Highlander 2, so he knew it all.
I believe he told us that he talked to the director and said, you cannot hire Robert Ginty, because I thought we were coming into another Ginty movie. No, it's just a shitty movie without Robert Ginty.
Well, Lambert is kind of Ginty-esque. He's not as douchey, but he is kind of like no talent. Like,
yeah.
Just like a...
He's good at having that blank face, and it works pretty well for him. At least he's not jowly.
Yeah, but dude, hair all over those ears.
It was all over the
hair
place.
Was caressing the ears, and I didn't like it.
What? Okay. I'm about to say something I appreciate about this movie, and I want you to do the same. I appreciate McLeod's Nikes. He's got those nice early 80s,
I
early
mean,
90s Nikes.
You know that he's ready to do some high landing when he puts on the fucking Columbo raincoat.
Yup.
The fucking relaxed fit mom jeans.
Yup.
And those fucking fresh white Nikes.
Yeah.
Then, it's like, that's like his armor.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I felt at that one moment, 'cause it's only in one scene where he's like walking down the street.
Yep.
I felt like I was in a Highlander movie again.
Right, because that's how it begins, like him in the parking lot structure.
Yeah, I mean, some movies just need to be left alone. Like if they'd never done any sequels, Highlander 1 would be considered a cult classic, all-time cult classic.
Right, it wouldn't be, but it would just be cult classic. Because I'd say Highlander 1 obviously is still a cult classic.
Yeah,
but then you have to go, because they did so much dumb shit with it, except the nacho cheese dipping sauce. That was the only thing that they did smart. So, what's the one thing you liked about it? Or is it just the raincoat, too?
Let me think about the one thing I liked about it.
Yeah. It's a PG-13.
I was going to say it was 90 minutes. It wasn't 90 minutes.
Just over.
It was way over.
It was?
Well, because Pluto put out so many fucking commercials, it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
Pluto, ease up on the commercials. You're killing the momentum of these movies by just peppering them in.
Right. Murray was drawn in until that commercial
I was
for
engrossed.
Clorox.
When I saw those Nikes, I was engrossed. And then they just cut the fucking Clorox.
Yeah.
Let me see.
It had you foot and shoe.
The only thing I thought I enjoyed about it is they told us to forget 2 happened. That was basically it.
How did they do that?
They're trying to reboot. They never mentioned it.
They just never mentioned it.
In the beginning, he talks about we get a recap in the first movie, and they don't even mention
the
quickening. We're not talking about Planet Zatarand, where they're from. Right. We're not talking about nacho. No nacho cheese dip mentioned at all.
Nothing.
No Taco Bell tie-ins. No trains that are going down alleyways. No Birdmen.
There is so much.
No elderly Conor.
We were mentioning that in 2. At least there was so much stupid shit to look at.
Yeah.
That movie was full of bullshit everywhere. It was a lot of fun, but very bad. This one has nothing.
Half of it's just copying the first movie. The villain is a total ripoff of the Kurgan, who is way better fucking villain.
Right. And we're on the 3rd movie, and we're getting training montage after training montage after training montage.
Retraining montage. He's
fuck?
sharpening his skills because he gave up the life of a Highlander because he thought he was an immortal.
You
thought he was mortal now.
But why is it still like the basic shadow sword fighting or whatever?
What else can you do with a sword?
I really don't know, but it was just he had the sparring partner for one scene. We don't even get to see it. And they're like, yeah, he's all trained up now. I don't know. We could have used a little bit more fast forwarding. They could have got this movie to a crisp 85 minutes.
Definitely, yeah.
And that would have been better for it. One bad thing. What's one bad thing?
One bad thing?
I know, we're going to go over a lot of bad things, but off the top, the one bad thing
I really hated his adopted son. He was a classic child actor.
In
really bad. The
94.
Muppets.
He was perfect 94 kid.
Yeah.
I think he was an extra in Seinfeld, too.
Okay.
He had the puffy coat and the red hat on.
He had the fucking Fred Durst.
He was the original.
Red baseball cap. Maybe that was Fred. Maybe it was Fred Durst.
It might have been.
He was wearing a MAGA cap, basically.
He was wearing a MAGA cap.
Yeah, so that was off the top of my head. There's a lot, but we'll go over it through the movie.
Yeah.
But that first thing that comes to mind is I hate that child.
Oh shit! What did I hate? I guess the logic of his sword. I'm so confused. What's the deal with Highlanders and katanas?
Because he always uses a claymore, and all of a sudden he's a katana guy for this movie.
Because I thought he got a Highlander. I thought he got a katana.
He never used a katana in the first movie. He used a claymore.
That would make the most sense.
Because he's a Highlander. Well, first of all, as we figured out in one of our reviews, everybody who's immortal is a Highlander. Yeah, that's how we will always refer to them.
Right.
I don't give a fuck if it makes sense or not. This movie doesn't care if it makes sense, so we don't care if we make sense.
Right.
You're a fucking Highlander if you're immortal.
Right.
I don't care where you're from.
Do we ever figure out what the prize is?
You become mortal.
Oh, it's just that?
Yeah.
Because they're already immortal. It's just
Yeah.
no one else can stop them from being immortal.
You become mortal, so you don't have to be immortal anymore. Because it gets
Oh,
boring.
you become mortal
Yes.
is what you said.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because it gets boring after a while. You can only fuck the same women. You notice he keeps fucking the same women. It's like after you while he's gone through every type of woman you can, and you're like, fuck, I'm fucking. Oh, is it fucking 100 years? I must be fucking this type of broad now.
Right.
It gets boring.
I want to see. I would take out a scene and just put a scene of him talking to like Dr. Phil about relationships or something. I would have done 10 minutes of that. Conor McLeod talking about love over 1,000 years. That would have been good. Better material than they gave us in this movie.
I got another question because we're gonna because we forgot everything about the mythology of Highlanders, so we're gonna hash it out again. Why? This is my explanation. I might be wrong. You notice how there's elderly immortals? Like Mako in this movie is an immortal.
Okay.
The swordman from the beginning. Nakano,
Nakano.
And Connery was old. Is it because when you get killed the first time, that's when the Highlander kicks in? And that's why, so it's in a way, like, so if I got killed when I was 60, I would eternally stay a 60-year-old man instead of like a 20-year-old guy.
That's how I understand.
Because you would think you would just become like at your peak, whatever, 25 or whatever, and you'd stay that way. But no, because there's elderly immortals.
Let me take this back to Top Gun, because I've noticed that Tom Cruise hasn't appeared to age between the two Top Gun movies.
He's drinking adrenochrome or whatever that is.
Oh.
That's what Scientologists do.
Oh, right. So,
they're immortal.
So Scientologists do harness the power of Highlander.
The quickening.
The quickening, of course.
Yeah.
Yes,
he dips his fingers in the nacho cheese like every other.
Oh my God, we've all seen the
You
documentaries.
got to be at the top level to get the nachos. So.
Yeah, it costs you how much
dipping
money?
sauce.
$14 billion.
Billion
Yeah,
dollars.
$14 billion. Okay, $14 billion gets.
That's
your
why he's
fingers.
doing Top Gun so he can afford it.
Yeah, I hear if you give a one-time donation of $5 billion, they'll let you dip the pinky.
Remember the dippening, Highlander.
Remember the dippening, of course. Yeah.
Many people don't know that Tom Cruise is Scottish. It's McCruise.
We're gonna do a lot of talking about Highlander on the other half of the trailer. Is there anything else we need to gripe about before we go there?
No. Just guys, stop wearing sandals. I'm over it. I don't like it.
Yep.
And if you got to, first of all, you don't have to. But if you do, take care of your feet. We don't need to see witch toes. All right, with the claws. It's like a witch cursed your feet, and you got like claws. Like nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see men's feet to begin with.
Yeah.
Do you want to see men's feet?
No, I can't say I do.
Exactly.
I mean, you hear a lot about foot fetish in people, but
it's never
about men's feet,
women.
is it? Right? Yeah.
Like women can, there's certain things women can wear that men can't, and one of them is like shoes that show off your feet.
Yeah, just don't.
Stop it. Stop! I don't like it.
Did you come across some open toes or something?
Yes, that's all I'm seeing of these fucking suburban dad fuckwads. You know the types. As soon as it's 50 degrees, they break out the cargo shorts and the fucking this infuriates me too, the long sleeve sweatshirts with shorts. Are you hot or are you fucking cold? Make up your mind. And then when it hits like 55 degrees, that's when the sandals come out.
The sandals.
We don't want to see your fucking feet.
No.
Cover it up.
Is it okay that my feet are out right now? Is this distracting?
No. Well, you're just barefoot. If you're wearing sandals, I would fucking slap them off your feet and slap you with them.
There's something about this. So
I don't know. It's not a very masculine look to be wearing sandals.
Yeah. I don't know. It's about as annoying.
I mean, would you wear like stockings and garters too? No, that's a feminine look. All right.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, there's some things that are just look better on women than men.
Right. Unless you're Tim Curry. You did all right with the stockings and leggings.
That's
he a
another
top
thing.
10?
Chicks can look hot with like knee socks. Guys look like fucking morons.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is true. Go look at any pictures of the 70s.
Yeah. I know. I was there. I had the fucking knee socks when I was a little kid.
Right.
It's fucking stupid looking. The short shorts and the knee socks, awful.
It's
hot as hell on a chick, awful on a guy.
It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. Well, because we're different. That's why.
Different.
But you know what's not different? This motherfucking trailer for Highlander. Hey, it's either the Final Dimension, the Sorcerer. Call it whatever you want. It's shit.
Sorcerer makes a little more sense.
Makes a lot more sense.
We never figure out what Final Dimension
I guess
is
we're
supposed to
living
be.
in the Final Dimension because they go nowhere.
Final Dimension,
This movie
New
goes
Galaxy,
nowhere.
Intergalactic, Planetary.
There you have it.
Pretty great band. Pretty great band, Beastie Boys right there. This is my Brian Last voice. Not quite Velvet Underground, but pretty good.
All right. See you on the other side of this trailer for Highlander, Final Dimension.
From the dawn of time we came, moving silently among you. Immortals.
Throughout the ages, he has traveled through time, fulfilling the prophecy that there can be only one. But the ultimate evil has found him.
His name is Cain.
Highlander's out there somewhere, and he owes me 400 years.
One is a master of the sword.
I know who you are. You're Conor MacLeod, born into the clan MacLeod.
The other, a master of illusion.
Some say he's the devil himself.
Two enemies from another time are about to collide in this one. The final chapter in the epic war between good and evil concludes.
There can be only one.
Highlander, the final dimension.
Whew, time for a nice little recap of the first movie.
Yeah, and a ignoring of the seconds.
Just ignore that shit.
So we get Christopher Lambert in his classic monotone delivery. I was a Highlander.
Yes.
I don't know what this accent is, but... And then he just tells us, yeah, I was from Scotland. I got killed. I came back to life, the quickening.
Yeah.
I thought, I am the last one. I am now mortal, or so he thinks.
So he thinks. Because, again, there isn't, like, a ceremony when you become the one, you know? They don't, like, put you on a pedestal, give you a little trophy.
Right, you just assume.
You're left
I don't
to
know why they just assume. Like, do they know the number of Highlanders out there? Also, I'm sure they actually covered this in the TV series, which I've never seen. Are there any female Highlanders? It seems like they're all male.
Yeah, come on. There's probably got to be a few.
Yeah, I'm sure on the
females
TV show
yeah.
they probably had some.
And they probably introduce it in a way where it's like a Highlander thinks he's about to bang like a sub woman or
right,
something.
he's like, yeah, she'll be dead sooner or later, so I don't have to deal with her bullshit anymore. It's like, I'm an immortal now. I'm a Highlander too, bitch.
Yeah.
And we're married. And he's like, because you know Highlanders, these marry bitches because they're just like, hey, she'll be dead eventually. I'm immortal.
Can Highlanders, people become Highlanders by killing a Highlander? Mortal become?
No, you cannot.
You have to be born.
You have to be born. Also, I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, boy.
Well, according to this movie, I don't remember the original movies. You absorb their memories and shit?
Yes, we learned from this. Okay, we were talking to each other a little bit about what this movie actually adds to the whole world, universe, rules of...
Which we learned there's really, much like Star Wars, there's not much of a world there to begin with, so just leave it alone.
Right. Star Wars could do a lot of shit. Star Wars...
But they're not.
Yeah, exactly. They're not.
Thing.
Because it would take a lot of effort and work, and they might alienate some of the easy idiots that they get to watch them.
Yeah.
So they got to make it incredibly dumb, incredibly plot hole
No,
ridden.
a credibly callback.
And, of course, lots of cheap...
Like, hey, remember that guy who was in the cantina in the background? This episode's all about him.
Well, look at everything we're surrounded by. It's all cheap callbacks now.
Yeah, it's all nostalgia. We live in an
Yeah.
era of nostalgia.
Right, because we don't want to attract a new audience. We just want to bring the same old idiots back. We don't want to try hard.
You know what? I actually started watch. There's a new Star Trek show.
Yes.
It's not that bad.
It's
called
okay.
Stranger Worlds.
Is that the cartoon?
No.
Okay.
But it's set right before Classic Trek. So
Okay.
Spock is on it.
Okay.
And what I like about it, it's one and done episodes.
What?
Yes, it's like old Star Trek.
Amazing. I love
And
that.
the captain is Captain Pike, who's the original.
Yes,
captain.
I think I've seen the commercials for it
Yeah.
because that guy is looking.
Yeah.
Hey,
But he's basically doing Kirk, though. But
Yeah.
that's fine. Only gripe I have, and I've only watched 3 episodes, and they're toning it down, but it was irritating me at first because this is another gripe I have about modern shit. Constant quipping.
Oh yeah, no, that's what
That's
I
what
don't.
Marvel fucking as the masters are doing.
Yup.
Because there used to be a time when there was a character who was called the comic relief, and he was the quip guy.
Yes.
Now everybody is the fucking comic relief character,
Right.
and
And
that
it's-
irritates me.
It's so infuriating because you got all this tension and then you bring in your comic relief to provide a little bit.
Exactly.
No, you get it from every direction now.
Right,
So-
and then you're like, well, why should I be like tense for this situation? Because these guys who are supposedly going to die, they don't care.
right. That it's like I like the Star Trek that has that heavier tone, even when you're like, this is some silly shit. You know, they did such a good job of doing all that.
So I will say, I'm only 3 episodes in, but not bad.
Not bad. That's a
If you have
huge,
to, watch new Star Trek, make it that one.
If you're jonesing for a new,
Because it's got like Spock on. Spock's on the class. He's probably him and Kirk are my favorite Star Trek characters of all time.
Yeah.
So
Bones.
and he's good. The guy who plays Spock is good because he doesn't quip.
That's good because you can't.
But when he does what Spock does, where he wouldn't quip, but he would say she's so serious it would come off funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was so good. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, Murray,
Highlander. We're trying so hard not to talk about Highlander.
Star Trek, Top Gun. Now, that's a better question. Do you have to be born a Top Gun? Because I really...
No, we learned that they're converting people to be Top Guns. We know what a Top Gun is. Guy on top.
Oh, Jesus.
His dick is his Top Gun.
Dicks are guns. We know this.
Yeah.
This is true.
Did you see? I think it was in Austria. I'm trying so hard not to talk about Highlander. They did an Burger King ad for Pride Month, and they had 2 top buns on a burger and 2 bottom buns on a burger. It's a real ad.
That sounds like some good, clean fun.
Yeah, it is. Tops and bottoms love Burger King. They love a Whopper. That's for sure. Highlander, Final Dimension.
All right, so now we've got the recap that we did such a good job recapping.
You go fucking listen to our Highlander 1. For the first time ever, we've actually did these in a row.
We actually did. It only took us 3-4 years to get
Yes.
through all of them because we did Highlander in our first year,
Yeah.
and then there 2 in like our third year, and here we are in year 4 doing Highlander 3. All right, so we got to recap. Now we're getting like we're seeing some sword being forged.
Get reminiscent of Conan, the intro to Conan. I want to hear the dun 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 dun.
That would have been good. A big build up.
And could we have Mako in there? He's in Conan.
Oh,
and he was fucking just in our Hawaiian Heat episode.
He was. Was he the chief?
Yes, he was the chief.
Nice. Trying to forget about that one too.
Yes.
Fucking Ginty quipping. Ugh.
Yeah, this is the last thing we needed. Like, we were so drained from doing 3 weeks of Gint. And I was just like, I know, I got a great idea, Graf. We love the Highlander series. It's got to be better than Quickening. And
Yeah.
no. I was tortured through
I
this
want
movie.
my nacho cheese dipping sauce back. I want that back. I don't want this.
Great Taco Bell tie-in. I don't know why they didn't do it.
I don't know why they didn't. They're all about those fries.
So, yes, we see Mako playing Nakano, who's also a Highlander.
Yes.
Japanese Highlander.
Japanese Highlander.
We've got Highlands.
Yeah, somewhere in Japan.
Well, he's in a mountain. That's the highest land you can be.
That's the highest land.
He's like Thulsa Doom. Won't much back going to Conan again. He's like Thulsa Doom. He's inside a mountain. He has his temple.
He even has statues that heads turn and everything.
Mountaineery.
Mountaineery.
And he's forging a katana. Mm-hmm. And Conor is watching him.
Yep. He's got the full mane right now. He's got a couple
yeah.
little braids here and there.
Got the fucking kilt-on. He's full Highlander.
Oh, yeah. 100% McLeod. And Nakano is telling him all about how there is an immortal out there.
There is danger coming for you, Highlander.
I guess we're supposed to believe he's coming from China because they show.
Yes, because he's wearing samurai armor.
Yes,
he's multi-ethnic.
There's something about Highlanders.
I think he's trying from Mongolia. That's the vibe they're trying to give.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense with the facial hair and everything.
Right, and they're horsemen like Mongolians.
Right, but something about Highlanders, they love their mall ninja shit. They always have a katana. And so you're saying that even our new villain is big on the mall ninja shit. Because he's got the whole samurai
that's
outfit.
why he's coming to Mountaineer. He wants the perfect katana.
You got to get
He wants to learn the knowledge of making katana, because we've learned that if you kill a Highlander, you get their knowledge.
Yeah, you get their knowledge. You get their... what is
So Kane is looking for Mountaineer, which is the lair of Nakano. And he comes to a village that's outside of the mountain.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, where's Nakano?" I'm like, "We don't know."
Just
who
point to, where it's at. I'll go over there.
And they're like, "We don't know."
And the guy says, "Loser say what?" And Kane, he's onto this. He's been around the world.
By the way, Kane, played by Mario Van Peebles, who looks like he just took the wardrobe from Exterminator 2 that he was wearing, because he's got the Road Warrior fucking samurai shit on.
Yeah.
And he's got the septum ring. He's full 90s. He's got the tribal tats. He's got the Betty Page bangs.
Nipple rings. He has got Betty Page
everything.
Bangs, but he's got a receding hairline.
Yeah, they're bad. They're not.
Flowing mullet. And then these bangs that are just like frayed straight out.
Yeah, it's almost like Betty Page meets mall hair. Like the 80s mall hair where the girls would tease their bangs up and spray them. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Look. Horrible look.
Horrible look.
I remember it.
Even if they're wearing the high socks and short shorts.
Oh, no.
It's not going to save it.
No.
Nope. Your long socks.
No, you gotta have all your hair bang. You can't just have the bangs.
No, we have a lot of opinions about socks, where they belong. If a lady climbs into bed with you wearing those long socks, are you still okay with that?
Yeah, totally.
Even if they're tube socks.
I'm total take David Hess. I want him to keep the stockings on.
I'm talking tube socks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
I just got to make sure.
I'm totally into that, yeah.
Okay. Tube socks stay on.
Keep them on. So
our little villager sasses them. Loser say what? Kane backhands him, and then he's like, "I'm gonna burn the whole fucking town down."
Burn it down. So him and his two goons, who are also Highlanders,
yes,
to start burning this whole. It's like, do they have anybody to protect them? Like, there's 3 guys, and this whole village gets taken out. Are the men away doing something?
No, they were there, but
they had no weapons.
They weren't armed. Have guns.
Why didn't they? Why didn't they have? Did Nakano protect them? Is that why they were covering for him? And so they assumed Nakano was going to rescue them?
Maybe they legitimately didn't know where he was.
I think so. But you're right. They need a gun. Just everything can be solved with just more guns. We've learned that.
I mean, that's why we need AKs. I mean, no one's talking about this. I have an AK in case a fucking Highlander comes to my house.
Right, and none's ever come because they're scared of your AK.
That's right. Well, I have the sign out there that says, fucking come and take it, Highlander.
AK, not okay.
Come and take with the A and the K in big letters.
So we have a moment where Nakano sits Conor down to teach him wisdom. You must fight with your spirit, heart, and head. And that is how you will beat Kane.
There's a nice little callback to last week's movie where he sticks a stick into what's his name's face, and then it turns into a coiled serpent.
Yeah, but this is a real one.
This is actually a real one.
Yeah, because we learned that Nakano is a master of illusion. So he's a sorcerer, if you will.
Yeah. So this is the addition we get to the whole universe of Highlander. Nakano can do magic.
Right. They're doing their kendo katas with each other, the kendo stick fighting, and then, like you said, Nakano turns into a snake. Ha ha ha! Nothing is as it seems. Beware the power of illusion, Highlander.
Next, we get into some nice blind fury. Wasn't that our... what's his name? Rutger Hauer movie?
Yeah, Rutger Hauer.
It's beautiful.
They put the blindfold on and start throwing fruit at him, man.
Yeah.
Do you think Rutger Hauer? Well, I guess did somebody? How did Rutger Hauer die? Was he beheaded? Because I think Rutger Hauer might have been a Highlander.
I think you're right. Oh, next good question here. Who, Rutger Hauer, can be included, would be a good Highlander? If you were going to do a Highlander with all of our action heroes, who do you think would be a good Highlander?
I'd like all our action heroes in it. It's a gathering of all of them. Have fucking Zadar be the villain. Have Steve James.
Zadar would be such a good... Steve James would be such a good... There's so many good ones.
Yeah, but they're unfortunately, they're not immortal because they're no longer with us anymore. Rucker would be a great one. He'd be better than Lambert.
Fender would have been a better Kane in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I like this Highlander. This quickening.
I like the quickening. So, yeah, we're getting some Blind Fury train. Just throwing fruit at left and right. They do a move where Nakano puts a cantaloupe on top of his head.
Yeah, it was a papaya, but okay.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay.
It gets sliced. Like, is it where a papaya be in fucking Japan? They grow there?
I think that's where they're from.
Are they? No.
I have no
Papayas
clue.
are like from like Hawaii and those kind
I have no fucking clue. It could have been a cantaloupe for all I know. But I like this because we see that Nakano's got a little bit of a sneaky side to him. And so he puts the melon on his head. And then he's got, he's standing face to face with Conor. And then as Conor puts his blindfold back on, he smoothly just shifts right behind him. And Conor's about to come down right in front of himself. But then he turns at the last second and slices it.
Right, it's great.
It's beautiful.
And this is where we learn that it can get tiresome being immortal because Nakano's like, I want you to kill me, Conor, and take my powers of illusion. I'm over it. I'm over life. I've done it all. I've ate the papaya. I could eat a papaya all night long, but I can't do it anymore. I can't get it up, and nobody tells you. You still go impotent. You know that's the duality because they say that a Highlander cannot impregnate a woman.
Was that new to this movie?
I think that was in the last movie too.
Okay,
But
I
might
feel
be
like
wrong about
like I've heard that one before.
So that's another reason you'll always be alone. You'll never have a child of your own. So, yeah. So he's just like, I want you to kill me. I've done it all, and he's like, I will never kill you.
And this is where we cut over to a strange little statue. And
that was weird. Where did that come from?
I don't know. What was the point of it?
Was it an illusion?
Because I thought it was supposed to be some kind of magic sentry.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And so the eyes open up and the head turns, and that's where we see like Kane's basically here.
Yeah.
And so we're expecting these guys to know what to do. They got like a back out route or anything,
right.
But no, they just sit there. Nakano's telling Conor, "Hey, you got to leave now." And Conor's like, "No, I cannot leave. Look at my beautiful head. The papaya juice that you squeeze over it. It's so perfect."
Okay. I thought you were going to go on.
No, I had nothing because it's fucking allergy season. I can't talk for 10 seconds without, needing to take a huge breath.
So Kane comes in. I think he immediately impales Conor on his sword, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just walks in. He's like, I like this cave. Stabs Conor. The Conor's like, hey, leave him alone. And that's where we see that that was the first time that I was aware of it. I think you were aware of it too, because he stabs Conor and he starts getting all of his images. And we
no. I think what
was that later.
I think what you're misreading. That I know what you're talking about. I think Conor was having a flashback to the first time he got killed by the Kurgan.
Oh.
First of all, he's like, this guy's a low rent Kurgan. First of all, I can't believe I got stabbed by this guy.
Right, he didn't even flinch.
Yeah, so we get a flashback to the first movie, where we see the Kurgan stabbing Conor for the first time on the battlefield.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it wasn't him inheriting kind of like his memories.
No, because you have to chop the head off to get the memories.
Okay.
Because that's what the quickening is. The lightning comes into you.
The lightning does come into you.
And so, yeah, he just incapacitates Conor. Conor just disappears from the scene. I don't know what happens. But I guess he heals and he goes, I guess I will leave.
I mean, it is some AEW tag team booking here.
Right. Yeah, he's literally lurking, looking, waiting for his spot.
You see him kind of pop up behind a rock, and he's like, "Oh, is it my turn to jump off the ladder yet?"
So this is where Nakano does a little bit of his illusions, where he makes 3 versions of himself, but we all know illusions don't sweat. So Kane sees this is happening in the movie.
Yeah,
Kane notices a trickle of sweat going down. He's like, "You're the real one." And he just fucking slices the head off. This is a Highlander first, though. Usually when you get beheaded, you're dead.
Yeah.
No, Nakano's head lives for a little longer.
This is cool. What didn't make any sense, like with the sweat thing, they barely even have to fight. Like he splits himself into
the
3.
fighting scenes are awful in this
Oh,
movie.
they're terrible.
Yeah.
we didn't even mention that Nakano teaches Highlander a very cool move where a guy is running at him with a sword and he like turns his back into his body.
You be like water.
Yeah, be like water.
Right.
Just again, blind fury.
Right.
And you just grab their hands and like turn into their body, take the sword and stab them with it. And so that's the move we're going to see 1,000 times in this movie.
Right.
The guy hands him a hot dog and he does that move to him on the street, Conor. Because we do go to New York.
Right, you got to. That's where the gathering happens.
That's, of course, where the gathering of the Highlander goes.
The Highlander.
It's
Why would it be? I mean,
got to be in a large city.
Well, yeah, but
Why not Toronto?
that's probably where it was filmed. This was filmed in Montreal, actually. So.
Oh, nice.
No, but it's like, was it like when the Indians owned New York? Was it like is there something about that location? Like when it was this forest, did they come and have a gathering? We don't remember how often was it? Every 4 years? What was the gathering? And if there was a gathering every time, wouldn't there be one Highlander? Because the whole point of the gathering was to meet and fight.
But it's not like everyone
Is it
had
like
to come.
do they have seeds? Where like you got the first round, and then you leave after the first round. Like, I'll see you at the next gathering, and then you move up the ranks.
I mean, there's got to be people who don't get the word, or didn't want to show up because they knew they were going to get beat, and they really like their immortal life. I mean, fuck with all you want and not have kids. Maybe they're really into that kind of thing because we know at this time it's completely male dominated. It's 100-0.
It's a fucking sausage party.
It is a total
gathering.
sausage party.
Nobody's getting laid at the gathering. Maybe you're right. It's like, I'm not going to get laid at the gathering. It's all dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not going there.
Exactly. That makes perfect sense.
Because back before planes, you'd have to walk to the gathering.
You would have to walk. That's too much work. I'm not walking there. So anyways, after getting... they barely even have a fight. Cade notices Nakano sweating, so he realizes which one's the real one. But he just like kicks one, kicks the other, and then bashes the third. It was like nothing.
Yeah,
the fight was weak. If
there wasn't a fight, I don't think Nakano even got him moving.
No, we didn't get him moving. So it's like, what was the point of all this?
To have him get beheaded, because that's what happens.
Yeah.
And then the quickening begins, where he absorbs all the sorcerer's powers of Nakano. So while that's going on, Conor bugs out to the escape hatch. He gets out of the mountain. You would think. This has to be this can't be the first time Kane's ever got a quickening, a quick job.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
So wouldn't he like go? Maybe I shouldn't be inside a fucking mountain while all this shit's happening, because what happens is the mountain collapses on him because of the quickening.
Yeah, I guess
and
it
his buddies.
was. And you did mention that Nox's face turns to him and yells out like, "You think this is a quickening?" I don't know.
There will be one, but not you, is what he says.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. This is one of those instances where it's like Conor really did fuck up by not stealing his power.
Yeah. Well, he valued his friendship over power, Graf. That's what a good
the two of them should have escaped then or something, and then Nakano could have like caused the cave to implode on the guy. I don't know, but this was just poorly planned out. This should have been the build up to like the midpoint of the movie instead of the beginning, because then Kane's got this new superpower and we barely even get to see him fuck with it.
Yeah, he barely used it. It's like this is another of my gripes with Star Wars. Nobody ever uses the Force in a fight. It would be so easy to win a fight with the Force. You just yank a gun out of someone's hand, like
right.
There's no way you could lose,
right?
But they got to create drama. They have to like forget that people have the fucking Force.
Yeah, they really like to come and go with the Force powers. Yeah. It sounded like in the most recent ones they just used it for the whole Deus Ex Machina. We're just randomly like, oh yeah, I have super Force powers now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Now we're 400 years later, present day. We meet Alexandra. Don't call her Alex.
Don't or Al.
Or don't even think about it.
Don't even think about that. God, I hate that there was a callback to that.
There's plenty of callbacks.
Please don't remind me.
Sexy archaeologist. We know that's common in the world. Archaeology has so many babes in it.
Okay, another question. Are all Highlanders archaeologists?
Yes.
Or antiquators?
Yes, it has to do something with the past, because it's easy for them.
Yeah.
They lived it. So, and they,
course.
and they, all like, if you're a hoarder, it's even more amazing because you can just sell off your fucking,
Your
shit.
trinkets and shit that are thousands or hundreds
Yeah,
of
so it
years
makes
old.
perfect sense that you would always
Okay.
be attached to the past.
Okay.
And also because you lived it, you can be like a know-it-all. Like, no, that's not how ancient Chinese people lived. I
Right.
was there. Then you don't say, you go tee-hee, like to yourself. I was there. You think to yourself. And then you just mansplain. You Highlander splain to people.
Yeah, of course. Highlander
Right.
explain everything. So Alex,
Go. It's not called. What did you call chopsticks last week?
what did I call chopsticks last week?
Yeah.
Oh no, what did I call them? Chinese sticks.
Something like that.
I think I called them Chinese sticks. I'm sorry.
He's like, but he would correct you. Go. They're called chopsticks. Chopsticks. So Alexandra, she is at the dig. Apparently, can a mountain collapse on itself? Where there's got to be. I guess there got to be a huge hole underneath it for a giant mountain to collapse because the dig is underground
Yes.
where they're looking.
Right.
What is going on with this dig? There's like Dr. Frankenstein shit everywhere, like the fucking lightning bolt things and
they
shit.
have the giant lightning tower nodes, with the cylinder structures with the big balls on top.
Have has anybody involved in this movie been to seen like an Indiana Jones movie? I've
Right.
never seen like Dr. Frankenstein.
Exactly. It
equipment.
looks like they're trying to resurrect the dead. They're going to find a nice sarcophagus. And
Sarcophagus.
Sarcophagus.
Yeah.
And they're going to resurrect the dead or something. What the fuck? So anyways, Alex is showing up. Everybody is like, oh, hell yeah, Alex is here. And she's dressed
Right.
like, a New York go-getter.
Right, well, because they're excited because a white woman's going to tell these Japanese people about their past.
Finally.
Yeah.
And maybe she'll take her shoes off.
Right. And she just to throw her New Yorkness around, she hands the guy, here's a Yankee cap. I want you to wear this because it offends me.
She didn't even get him a fitted hat. She got him the
No.
fucking...
And she said, don't you dare bend that brim.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it straight.
You'll notice later on in the movie, he does not bend that brim.
No.
And he kept the sticker on it, too.
Got to do that.
Interesting choice.
Yeah.
So everyone's bowing to her and everything. Please tell us everything about our dig site, because you're the greatest archaeologist in the world.
Well, she's like, I will be back after I descend and check things out. So she goes down, and then she noticed. Did she go down? I thought somebody
We see her go down, and then we just kind of cut away from it,
Okay.
and we see Kane breaking through a wall.
Yeah, a little later on, a security guard hears something.
Okay.
And he goes down there. And then, yeah, Kane breaks through a fucking wall. Like, what? Like, there was just a fucking plywood keeping him 400 years trapped? Like,
Yeah.
why didn't he break out earlier?
Oh,
He's wanting to do the Kool-Aid Man intro. Like, he was...
You got to do the cool. He was in a 400-year
He did
coma,
scream,
too.
oh, yeah.
He did scream, oh, yeah.
Okay, they've been trapped for 400. Him and his goons are still with him because they're immortal.
Right.
Apparently, you don't need to eat or
No.
anything. But there was a lot of papaya down there, though.
There was, I mean,
But
come on.
it doesn't keep for 400 years.
Well, I mean, they probably got
They're
really,
probably eating a lot of ass with a knife and a fork.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's what they could do because don't they like we've never explored this. Like, say a Highlander gets his hand cut off. Does a new one grow, or does he have to put the old one on and make it like heal?
That's a
together?
good question. So you're saying they could
survive on their own
hacking-
asses. Yeah,
They could be hacking the whole Highlander system, cutting their own hands off, eating
They
it.
could be tossing some salad with some scrambled eggs.
Of course they could. Probably hands not the meatiest part. You probably have to cut
No,
all
that's
the
why I'm
way up
saying
to
they're
the
eating
elbow.
ass because that's got a lot of meat on an ass.
Oh, you're
It's
chopping.
all meat when you think about it. So they're eating ass.
Isn't it all fat?
No, what the? Well, if a girl's got a PHAT fat ass, I'd eat that. But no,
Good bit of muscle.
These guys,
yeah,
these guys
the
are in
glutes.
shape.
Yeah, oh, of course.
They were
So-
doing squats for 400 years. Kane got back.
So
Big
they're
Daddy Kane.
So they're raw dogging some butt cakes.
They're just, they're tossing the salad and eating the scrambled eggs.
Oh god!
And they break out. Somehow through osmosis, they pick up all
Oh my
modern
God.
slang and everything.
That completely explains the prostitute scene.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Anyways,
Yeah, but like, okay, I'm willing to cut him some slack that Kane knows English because we don't know where he's traveled before. He could have been to England before and learned English. I don't know why he'd have an American accent, but I'll let that slide. But how does he know modern slang? Because they're automatically throwing it out.
Yeah, he pops up and he's like, "Cowabunga."
That's what he said when they broke out. Cowabunga, dude.
That is very specific level of Americana. And he's been in a cave for 400 years.
Yeah.
So maybe they're ear to the ground or something, and they were just hearing everything.
Osmosis.
Osmosis, it's got to be it.
Yeah. And so they kill the security guard, and then, okay, they just spent 400 years trapped because of the quickening.
Yes.
He immediately kills one of his goons in the fucking tunnel.
I didn't even consider this.
Yeah.
I didn't.
He learned nothing.
So he's got two goons, of
Yeah.
course. They were all eating each other's
Kublai Khan
asses.
and Genghis Khan.
They're ass brothers at this point.
Yeah.
You're never going to turn your back on an ass
they're bang
brother.
bros.
Yeah. And so he goes, "Hey, why don't you go up that elevator right there?" How does he know what an elevator is? Go up that elevator there, figure out where we are, do all that. So the guy runs off, and he says, "Hey, Goon 2, come here." And then chops his head off.
Why wouldn't he do that when they were trapped? Well, you needed the ass.
Well, he had to survive on their ass. I get first picks.
Right. So when we see how evil Cain truly is, and he's like, Conor lost me 400 years. Find him. That's when he sends his one goon out. And then, like I said, the quickening, he almost buries himself again because the quickening had, and he learned nothing.
Right. And we also get to see all those fucking nodes in the science lab up above them, like going off and everything. It looked like they were about to resurrect the Frankenstein monster.
Right. Now we cut to what's our hero Conor been up to since the first movie, because the second movie didn't happen.
Right.
Well, he's in, let's just say Egypt. We know he's in the Middle East because we hear the fucking cliche music playing.
Yes.
And it's in the desert, so we're like, I'm going to say Egypt.
Yeah.
He's probably on an archaeological dig because, like you said, that's what they do.
Definitely somewhere Africa in that northern,
And he's got a little boy with him. And we're like, oh, okay, because we learned that from the first movie, you can knock a girl up when you're mortal, because he thinks he's mortal still. He doesn't realize that Cain exists. Well, he thought Cain died. Even though Cain wouldn't die because he needs to be beheaded. So that would be the worst torture ever if you're immortal and you're just like crushed under like 100,000 pounds of rock. But
Yeah,
you,
you
can't
couldn't.
die.
Yeah, you're just.
And you couldn't even kill
living
yourself.
Oh man, that would be really bad.
Yeah. Fortunately, they found an air pocket or something. They didn't get like buried. But
Yeah.
so we're like, oh, so we're thinking he's thinking we know that Cain is still alive. So ergo, he's not the one anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't have the prize.
Right. So, but.
We get a nice big lightning storm.
So
happening.
he probably but it is he mentioned it's his adopted son.
Yes,
he's an orphan he picked up.
Yes.
So he probably just thought he was infertile or something. He was shooting blanks. He
Yeah.
probably blamed every woman he fucked. Oh, it's your problem. It's your fault.
Yeah, 100% blamed it all on the women. But there's a big lightning storm.
Yeah, the
forming and
quickening
everything.
travels like thousands of miles apparently.
It travels to where every Highlander is, I think.
So it lets you know that there's been another Highlander.
I think
maybe that's
so.
how they keep track. Yeah,
That might be how they keep track.
So he pulls out his day calendar, like, all right, another quickening. Marks down the date.
He heads back to his house. He's got this beautiful fucking, like estate. He's got like
He's
a
got
big
a house
old
everywhere.
courtyard.
Every big city's got a house.
You see those fucking figs? The mountain of figs he had there.
Wow.
He had thousands of figs in that bowl.
Did he have any Newtons?
No. They were just figs.
He's eating them raw.
He's raw dogging those figs.
Is a fig Newton a sandwich?
It is, actually.
Okay.
It does say sandwich cookie on the package.
It is? Well, yeah.
It, like an Oreo, it says sandwich cookie.
That's true.
So
It is.
there you go.
He learned that from Nakano. He absorbed that information.
That's the only thing he got from Nakano. Sandwich cookies. So he's got a friend here that he trusts very closely, Jack Donovan, which sounds like a golfer.
Jack Donovan?
I think his name was Jack Donovan.
I have no idea.
I have Jack Donovan.
There's
notes.
Jack Nicklaus. He's one of the most famous golfers of all time.
Yeah, he's no Arnold Palmer.
He's not. He doesn't put fucking anything in his lemonade. He just drinks. He's like, fuck, get that tea away from my lemonade.
That's right.
I drink it straight.
Put
Put a fig in there.
You put a fig in it.
So he's like, look, I have to go back to New York where the gathering is. Can you take care of John for me?
Does John know he's adopted yet? I tell him
Every
day.
Let him know, you're not my spawn. I could get rid of you anytime I wanted to.
Exactly.
I could fucking take you back to that orphanage where you were eating ass.
Yep.
Because you couldn't afford anything else.
Yep. I believe I don't remember if it was here or later because we do get a scene where he's like saying goodbye to his little son John, and he's throwing a ball into a glove, a baseball into a glove. Are you gonna take me over to the United States to watch a baseball game yet? No,
Not yet.
I'm not.
You haven't earned it. You haven't earned it.
I'm not your father.
Remember, I'm not your father. That's something a father and son do.
You're gonna
I'm not
have to find
father.
your dad.
I'm your guardian.
Yeah, I'm just your guardian.
You're like my pet. Until I get tired of you, I'm setting you loose.
That is kind of his approach to parenting.
Yeah. Well, he's never had a kid.
In 400 or thousands of years.
Well, 1,000 years.
He had kids with his first wife.
He did not.
He did not.
Because he can't get a woman pregnant.
Even before he became... Wait, he's born a Highlander.
Yeah, you're born a Highlander.
So he was... Oh, wait. God damn it. We got to remember
Right.
these Highlander rules.
Yeah.
I got to. All right. So, of course, he's got to go off and do more training.
He's got to go do more Highlanding.
So he's like up on some cliffside.
Like a sand dune or some shit.
This is high enough land. I can do some
Right.
sword katas up here.
Right. That's the great thing about the world, Griff. There's Highland everywhere you go. That's why they're Highlanders.
This movie also introduced, instead of the nacho cheese dipping sauce, remember in Nakano's cave, there was this scene where they poured water over the camera, and he was like glistening his fingers and...
He does that later, yeah.
Yeah, he does that multiple times.
Yeah.
He did
He
it in
waterfalls
Nakano's
a lot,
cave.
yeah.
So that is one of the also Highlander things we see. Highlanders love water.
They do. So, yeah, he's doing a little train, because he's got to get the kinks out. He hasn't fucking killed a guy with a sword in 8 years.
And Kane's the greatest badass of all time. I mean, he
Right.
could be traveling from fight ring to fight ring to fight ring, just
Right.
winning. He's
Exactly.
probably got so
He's
many.
the ultimate
shoot
shoot
shots.
fighter.
He's the ultimate shoot fighter.
So the next day, we're at the dig again with Alex.
Police are, yep.
And they're like, somebody broke in and killed two. There's a beheaded body here, and there's a dead security guard. And then Alex, she's always, because she's an archaeologist, she notices things, and she notices a katana.
Yeah.
And she's like, her buddy, what was the
This
guy's
is-
name? Fuji or some shit.
Yeah,
like that?
Fuji.
Fuji's like,
They're in a crime scene, by the way.
yeah, so it's being allowed to just walk over.
And she's like, "Well, I am an archaeologist."
well, she's like, well, this is my scene. This is my archaeological dig first.
"Yeah." So it
So
doesn't.
you're intruding on me.
Yeah. So they're like, "Well, it is your jurisdiction. I mean, hands tied.
Yes.
Hands tied."
So yeah, she's like, yeah, she's got dibs on it.
Of course.
So she notices a katana. She's like, and then Fuji's like, that's got to be a replica. She's like, fuck, no, it isn't. Let me tell you about your culture.
Let me tell you.
This is how they made it 400 years ago. Okay, and then she sees this little scrap of cloth. And she's like, fucking tart. And she's like, Argyle, what the fuck? Like, she's like, Burberry, what the fuck is this doing here? We know white people invented Burberry.
She tastes it a little bit.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh my god, that's authentic. That's straight from the Highlands."
Yeah,
I can't believe
How did
it.
this get here?
Right. You can taste a little bit of scotch on there. Wait, is scotch? I don't know what.
Yeah,
it's
Scotch is from Scotland. Yeah, it's the only place Scotch is from.
God damn it! I'm so
Yeah.
stupid. Scotch,
Yes.
Scotland.
And the tape. Only place you
Oh,
can get Scotch
Scotch
tape in Scotland.
It has to be manufactured there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It
a,
is the
it's a law.
stickiest of sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
All right. And she's like, I got to get back to my lab in New York.
Right.
With her
well,
new
no. She's still going to stay there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
later on we learn why she has to go back to
Okay.
New York.
Okay. My bad.
So Conor has to get back to New York.
Okay.
And this is where we see all you see are some fucking fresh white Nikes, and then it slowly pans up. You see those fucking billowy mom jeans, relaxed fit,
Oh, he's so relaxed.
up to the nipples, and then you see like a button-down shirt. You see the Columbo jacket. He looks like Columbo. He's always disheveled. He never has a shave.
100%. He's kind of got that Columbo look going on.
And he's
I
just
like it.
walking down the middle of the street in New York. He's like,
Right.
fuck this shit.
Well, I did notice he was walking down a poorly lit, wet alley.
And it was in the middle of winter, and it's wet as fuck.
Right. So clearly there's some steam being let up or something from the sewers.
Right.
And so
Dark
there's-
the heat's coming off.
That's
They
gotta
emit
be-
a lot of heat.
So in his 400 years away from New York, he has not been thinking about the Zargathos.
He hasn't been away. He's only been away for 8 years.
Oh, 8 years.
Remember,
he's
he
been
lived
away
in
from
New York and Highlander.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
So he's going back to his old. Because he keeps that. He's got an apartment everywhere, every of the big cities. So
Right.
he's going to go back to his old apartment. But before he can do that, he gets accosted by some cholos. A Cadillac drives up, stops. I thought it was going to be King Willie's gang.
Oh,
But there
yes.
was no pot smoke came out.
No
at all.
pot smoke. Yeah.
And they're like, yo, SA, what the fuck? Give me your shit. And he's just like, what? And then they fucking pull out a gun and just fucking shoot him.
Shoot him a couple times, leave him there to die on the street. They don't even try to go into his jacket or anything. They just drive off. They just literally want to shoot
At this point,
the guy.
he's like, I'm dead, because he still thinks he's got the prize.
Oh, right.
He doesn't
He
realize
thinks he's
that
mortal.
he doesn't realize, that he's immortal.
Yeah.
He thinks he's mortal. So he's just like, I guess I did what I could do.
Right. I tried.
But fortunately,
Wait, even though Nakano just told him he's not the last one, and he came to New York to
he
trade.
forgot about. I don't know what's going on.
This makes no sense.
He didn't. I think it was like he knew something was up because he saw the quickening,
Saw the quickening.
but he wasn't sure.
Oh, that's right. Nakano told him 400 years ago.
Right, he
of
probably
course.
forgot about Kane.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of shit in between. He's fucked countless women, only in the George Washington times. But
God, that is the worst part of Highlander lore. Is whenever we go back in time, it's always
guys with ponytails and silk stockings. Not hot at all. When you saw him with those high silk stockings,
I was not into it.
No,
my
no,
dick
boner
did,
killer.
My dick did nothing in those
No.
scenes. Yeah.
So he gets some good Samaritan, calls the ambulance. They take him in. So they're like looking at him. He's got blood all over his chest, but like the doctor's like, "There's no fucking bullet holes. We wasted my fucking time."
Is
This
that
guy
what-
probably had a nosebleed.
So this was part of a scene that I completely missed, and Murray had to fill in the notes because my notes start up. He's in a looney bin. What? But yeah, this scene did happen.
Yeah, so the doctor's pissed off. He's like, "Why are you wasting my time? This guy's fine. He has no blood. He comes back to life."
Yeah, I mean, he needs a shave.
Even though this is what I didn't
Smells
get,
bad.
because I get it, because in the first movie, the first time he's killed, in quotation marks,
Okay, yeah.
he's dead for a while and he comes back, and I took that as, okay, this is the first time he died, so the first time, then that's when you become a Highlander, true Highlander.
Okay.
So I could believe that there'd be a moment of pause, but in the rest of the movie, like, remember the scene in the first movie? They're drunk and they're like stabbing each other and shit, and it's not even doing anything to them.
Yes, that's right.
And so I don't know why he would have died, quotation marks, in this scene.
Very simple rules that were established in Highlander
Yeah.
1. Like, play on those rules, but keep strict to those rules.
But he
No.
does come back to life, and he freaks out as you would.
Yes.
And they're like, this guy's obviously crazy. A doctor, he's like, we need to sedate him. He stabs Conor in the heart with a fucking, like, he does the reverse Pulp Fiction where he's like, we're going to slow his heart down.
Yeah.
So he stabs him in the heart. Did you notice? I don't know. I mean, I know it's because to give you that cringe factor, but it's the law. If anyone needs to be sedated in a movie, it's in the neck.
Yes.
Every time, which we would never fucking do.
Never.
Because it could go right into your throat, and you would just be spraying shit down your fucking
And they
throat.
always have a cartoon-sized needle,
Yes,
too. So
always.
it'd be, like, horrible.
Right. It would probably come out your other side.
Yeah. It's gross.
Anyway, so then they put him in the loony. Apparently, there's a in this hospital.
Yes.
There's a place for criminally insane people.
Right. Batman will love this hospital. This is Gotham now. We are in Gotham.
We're in Arkham. Arkham
Yeah.
Asylum.
Or Arkham
right now.
Asylum,
Yeah.
yes. So they fucking sedate him. It knocks him out, which apparently Highlanders are still affected by.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they can get high. still,
Yep,
so
they
yeah,
can get high. I wonder if he's ever gone on some weird benders. Where's that Highlander story? I want that Highlander
Yeah,
story.
because you can do whatever you want. That was the thing about Wolverine and X-Men. Like there was a thing where, because he always smoked, he used to smoke cigars all
Yes.
the time. And one of the characters is like, you shouldn't do it. He's like, I got a healing factor. I can do what the fuck I want.
Yeah, my lungs are fine
Right.
because of my healing factor.
Yeah,
I get to
so
do
let me
this.
get high as fuck. All right, let me-
on my cigars.
Right.
Yeah. So I want a nice little story about a Highlander who just goes on like a meth bender or
there
something.
might be like an episode of the show that they do that.
That would be cool if they just had one-off episodes.
If anybody
like
knows that, we'll do a tippy tap on it. If there's an episode, it's just a Highlander bender.
Yeah, we've got to
they're
be
winning
attracting
drinking contests,
right?
Just like
We got to have some weird Highlander fan out there who's gonna be like, "This is a good episode."
I
for
think
you guys.
Jack's a big Highlander guy.
Come on,
So,
Jack.
Jack, you know it.
Hook us up.
You know the Bender episode. Let us know.
There's got to be a Bender episode, and I'm sure he
Right.
cures it with orange juice and chocolate bars,
Right.
maybe some black coffee.
A little bit of coffee.
Anyways,
So he wakes up. Of course, there's got to be a guy who thinks he's a famous person. This guy thinks he's Napoleon.
oh, it's Napoleon,
Yes.
of course. That's why
And
his
of
hand
course,
is
yes,
in
and of course, Conor. He's probably met Napoleon.
Yeah.
So he's like, "I'm the Beef of Wellington. You remember me?"
the beef of Wellington.
Yeah. And he's like, "Of course I remember you." And he's like, "You got to get me out. I got to do that mission, Waterloo." And he's like, my boy, of course I'll let you in, because he's chained to a bed, so they take the restraints off.
Yeah.
And I'll create a distraction for you, my boy.
Pulls out his little trifold hat and pops it on
made out
there.
of newspaper.
And he just goes up and he starts doing, like a whole speech about how he's going to take over the world. And everybody in the loony bin starts freaking the fuck out.
Right.
They're throwing shit everywhere. They're shaking every bed. It's nuts.
So the guy who's out, the cop, security guard who's watching it, he had to open up the fucking cell door.
Yeah.
And then while he's going in to beat the shit out of these poor, insane people, Conor's like, sneaks off.
Right. And it just so happens that Goon 1, Kane's right-hand man now, because he killed his left-hand man.
Right.
He's also in the loony bin. And
I don't know how he knew about
No
Conor.
fucking clue. What is the rules on Highlanders tracking
Can
Highlanders?
they sense each other?
Maybe. Because that would have
Maybe.
been a fun thing to
They
explore.
can feel.
Maybe with Kane's sorcery powers, he could, somehow figure
But-
out where he was at.
But what were his sorcery powers? I thought it was just illusions.
That seemed to be all it was. But
He does illusions, but he can't transform himself into other creatures.
right, and
I don't know what his powers are.
and go through walls.
Yes.
They're again with the rules. It's like, hey, we created this new rule. Also, it means nothing because they can do whatever it wants. Nakano could just make illusions that you could touch and feel and everything. He can go through walls. He can fly. He can do whatever the fuck he wants because he's got the power of illusion.
Right. And as we've learned so much just in the past few weeks, if you got to get away from somebody, go down.
Go down. You don't go to the roof. Go down.
Oh, you either go to the roof or you go down, but you never go to where the exit is.
You never go out the door because
That's
Cruz,
where they expect you to be.
Ted Cruz went and got every door removed in this place, so there's only one entrance and one exit. Right. So if you're a bad guy, you can't get away.
So there's apparently we're in the year 1994.
Okay.
There's an old-fashioned laundry where they actually hang up the sheets to dry. They don't have dryers yet at this.
This is begging for Zargathos to be introduced and just start having babies everywhere because this is what they love. I mean, besides alleys,
right?
But think about this: it's steamed up. It's all steam baths.
Right.
There's clean sheets
everywhere,
and Zargathos, they want the clean sheets.
Clotheslines everywhere, and so we see them taunting each other, hiding behind the sheets.
Yeah. Well, Conor is just like a deer in headlights. He's
How
just
did these guys, first of all, how did they even know what an airplane was? Because remember, they were in Japan, the bad guys.
Bad guys, of course.
How the fuck did they get on a plane in samurai gear, get here? They had no money.
I mean, this is pre 9/11, so that part makes sense.
Yeah, I used to always travel with my katana before pre 9/11.
Well, of course you did, and your fedora, of course.
Of course.
Katana and fedora.
Well, you do. I spent my whole youth practicing the blade. I can't let it go to waste. So how did they even know how to? Because you think they'd be like, we got to get on a boat, you know? But no, he figured it out. Get on a plane.
Yeah, no big deal.
Osmosis. They absorbed it.
If Kevin McAllister can do it in 1991, then these fucking men who are thousands of years old can figure.
If you know a cowabunga, you know everything.
Oh, right. As soon as you learn cowabunga, you know how to say, here's my money, ticket please.
But, so we get a scene. And like I said, all the sword fighting scenes are awful. I think when we what did we do? Did we do a fucking Christopher Lambert movie with Jack? Because I remember him mentioning that Christopher Lambert was almost legally blind.
Yes, we did something with him. And he was talking about how it was very dangerous to be sword fighting with him because he was nearly blind. Yeah. What did we do? I don't know. I don't remember.
But you're not going to get a good fight scene out of Christopher Lambert.
Yeah. So Goon 1 follows him to the steam room. He starts yelling out for him. And as Kane told him, find him and bring him to me or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He didn't want him.
Well, yeah, because he wants to
kill him to absorb it. Yeah.
Do you have to kill if you're in the vicinity of a quickening and you're an immortal? Can you absorb some of it? Because his goons, or do you have to kill him? If the guy you kill, you absorb.
I don't know, and it's what's the potency? Is it go down based on? Yeah. Is it a nesting doll effect?
Does it split 3 ways?
Right.
Yeah.
So kind of how I'm a quarter of this part. So is it like if his goon kills him and absorbs him, and then he kills his goon, does he only get like 80% of Conor McLeod?
I think he gets all of it.
You think it's all of it?
Yeah, I think you absorb what they've absorbed.
Look at what we just done for the logic of Highlander. We just brought up this whole new thing about the potency of the quickening and like how much you absorb. We could have explored this in Highlander 3, but no. Instead, we're fucking chopping sheets. He's calling out, Highlander, I am your shadow. And Highlander's thinking about it. You're already dead.
Because Highlander doesn't have a sword, right?
Right.
So he's cutting. So we see Goon just slashing these. Because we see Conor hiding behind some sheets.
Yep.
He's slashing them. You've already lost, Highlander.
No, you've got it the reverse because he's using the Kano's line. You've already lost.
And then he does that. He does the move. He said,
he does the fucking spear move where he comes in hot and he blind fury grabs his hand, turns his back into his belly, steals the sword, cuts his head off.
And then he gets the quickening of this guy. So now they're even. They've each got a goon's quickening.
So the goons were in this movie just for them to feed.
Yes.
That's it. That is the only purpose. So
Right.
not only was there more
Well,
than
I think
one,
they needed a sword fighting scene. Like they needed a death scene, because
they needed that scene. They needed to give Conor a new sword. They needed to give him a quickening. Yeah. So not only was there one Highlander still alive, there was 3 outside of Conor because those 2 guys were also Highlanders.
Right. So now we get a shot of Kane. He's arrived. He's at the Snake Bar.
Oh yeah, we see him walk up like a frozen pier. That was a scene
this is a shot I don't remember. I missed this scene.
I remember this shot because I was like, why is this shot here? So I barely put anything in there for that.
So he hears the cops talking about the beheading at the hospispel.
Oh,
is that it?
okay.
Well, I'm just reading your notes. I don't remember this scene at all.
This skips over to the cops because we get a scene of Nash or not Nash, of what's his name, fucking Kane arriving. So I guess he's in New York now.
Yes, he is in New York.
So we got him in New York because he's there. It looked like he came in on a boat, though, like you were saying.
Okay.
He was coming in on a pier.
Okay.
So there you go.
So, every bad thing's happened at the docks. We've said it a million times.
Bad news coming.
This is where we meet Lieutenant Sten, who I don't think was from the first movie, but he does remember the beheadings that happened 8 years ago, and they involved a guy named Russell Nash, which was the alias that Conor McLeod was using at that time.
So good job. At least you got that right. You did a little bit of work on that.
So Sten, where's that Russell Nash guy? He's got to be behind this.
Right. And you think this is going to be a conspiracy cop who just blames everything. Everywhere he looks, he sees Russell Nash type of thing, So.
And he immediately goes to Russell Nash's apartment.
Right.
And so he meets Conor at the apartment. Conor is going to go up. He's got to get a shave, get, new set of clothes, new set of Nikes.
He's not quite he's got an extra little bit of stubble. He's got to shave it down, so he just has that haggard stubble going.
Right. And Sten calls him out. I know it was you, Russell Nash. I don't know what you're talking about.
All
and
right.
then he walks into his apartment.
Now it's time for some fun.
Yeah.
Because this movie's been so serious up until now.
Oh, totally.
We really need to, let it
release the
breathe
tension.
a bit.
This is how you do it, Marvel. You have moments of tension release, not constant tension. Because there's no tension if there's all release.
That's right.
So this is how they do it. So yeah, he's hitting the streets. He sees guys. They're doing a 3-card Monty game, and they're like, "Hey, look at this crazy guy. He's got his fucking blade shades on, clean, perfectly clean, not grimy at all."
Yeah.
If like I said, Fender had played this role, grimy him up. Yeah. That's what a Highlander would do. So the guy's like, "Hey, we got a pigeon right here. Come on, man. You can just find the red card."
That's all you gotta do.
And
Watches the guy shuffle the cards terribly. They even get somebody who could do this well. He does 3 different shuffles, and it's very easy to follow the card. But of course, Lord of Illusions, he's gonna have to fuck.
Well,
with
the
this
thing
guy.
is, they probably palmed the right.
Oh,
card.
they did.
So they're like, "There's no way you can fix."
So how we see illusions in this is they do a orange black kind of watery effect over things, and that's to tell us that he's using illusions on it.
It's that old school, cartoony kind of thing. It's not like CGI.
Oh yeah. So he flips over the first card, Kane himself flips over the first card.
Right.
Ace, red, or ace of diamonds.
Ace of diamonds.
Next card, ace of diamonds. Third card, ace of diamonds. And so he takes the 20 and he starts to walk. And of course the jive, hustlers are like, "Hey, how'd you do that, man? That's fucking crazy. Come back over here. Double or nothing. and he turns around. Kane turns around to look at them, and suddenly those tiny, awful little shades are on his face, and the jive guy's like, my glasses.
I can't see without my glasses. And he just walks off. So now Conor's back at the old crib. He's taking off the, cause when the show that people have been away for a long time, you have to have sheets on everything.
On everything, yeah.
And he's taking them off. He noticed in the back, he got the TV on, and he recognizes this voice from probably 300 years ago.
Yeah, there you go.
Because, that's the best thing you remember of a woman is her voice.
Yes.
And he's like, I've heard that voice before. And he turns around, and then he sees beautiful Alex, and then he looks at a fucking painting, and it looks just like her, Griff.
Oh
what
my
does
God.
that mean?
And it's like, you could identify this woman by her eyebrows alone. She's got, like, the most...
Yeah, they're weird.
Unique
very
eyebrows.
very arched eyebrows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're way the fuck up there.
Yeah, and then we get a flashback, and we only get the flashbacks to the old French Revolution times, because we got to see that fucking cyborg wig with the ponytail.
Oh, God. And it just so happens that his friend, whoever...
Pierre, wasn't it?
I didn't remember if this was Pierre or not, because I thought Pierre ended up hooking up with Sarah later.
No, Pierre dies.
Pierre dies.
Yeah.
Okay. I was so confused by that scene, and that shows in the notes, I'm sure.
I fixed it.
Yeah,
Don't worry
okay,
about
good
it.
job. So we got this guy, Pierre, let's say. Pierre shows up. He's like, my beautiful niece is in town. I don't know what these accents are, but I brought my beautiful
Well,
niece.
your accent's just as good as his, because he was not French. Because they were like English people in France. I don't know what's going on with that.
They say, this is my niece from England.
Yeah.
And she even speaks in a Scottish accent for some reason. Is she just trying to play it up?
I thought she had an English accent.
Oh, maybe she did. I don't remember.
All I know is he's smitten.
Yeah. Immediately smitten, and he's like, I think her first line is, yeah, they've brought me here to whip me into shape. And Conor, of course, hears that. He's like, I'll whip you into shape.
Right. He likes to spank.
And they both giggle a little bit. So, of course, they're hot to trot.
Right. Shocking, because we've learned that true love starts out with hate. So this is weird that they love each other immediately.
Right off the bat. But it's like their frustration of like, I need you to whip me.
Right.
That's the spark.
Yeah, because back then it was hard to find a woman like that.
Right.
Marquis de Sade looked forever.
Conor must be the only person in all of time to
He's probably hanging with the Marquis de Sade. This is the time that he was around in France.
Who's that?
Marquis de Sade.
Who's that?
The fucking guy the word sadism comes from. It's him. He came up with all the fucking whippings and
Really?
Yeah. Well, he
I
didn't.
don't
I'm sure
understand.
people were whipping people for centuries.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But he codified it and set the words, the safe words. That was his kind of.
That was his thing. He was the guy who came up with safe words.
Yes.
I'm sure him and
I
Conor...
think Conor is Marquis de Sade. That's his new fucking thing.
Now, do you think Conor's like, the old Romans and everything, where they were just in fuck piles? Do you think Conor does
done
fuck
it.
piles?
Of course he's done it.
Okay.
He's fucked in every kind of civilization.
Right.
all right? He's learned it all.
Because I feel like
He's done many a fuck pile.
like the Highlanders would all be that way. They'd be like,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm fluid on all this stuff.
Oh yeah,
I just like the
definitely.
fluids to fly.
They let the fluids everywhere because you get, like you said, you get bored.
Right.
Being immortal, so you're like, I'll suck a dick, whatever. I mean, who cares?
Suck
in
dick,
this
take dick,
lifetime, I'm fucking gay, and I'm just gonna fuck dudes, and then you get a new fucking identity, and you're like,
Walk a mile in your feet. I walked 80 years in your feet. I sucked dick for 80 years. I took dick. I was a power bottom. I was a soft bottom. I was on top. I was
is that
everywhere.
what they're called? Soft bottom?
I don't know.
Yep,
It's
you heard it here. The power opposite. Well, you'll learn. You're going to a gay pride parade later. Ask around. What's the opposite of a power bottom? Is it a soft bottom?
Is it a soft bottom?
So, yeah, there's Smith. Kane. He is at the snake bar. We know it's snake bar because it says the big sign snake bar, and there's a snake in a fucking, like a plastic fucking ball. I don't know what the fuck.
I was getting flashbacks to the fucking sangria science experiments that were
Yes, it
happening
was.
in what's his name's lab.
Yeah, Dr. Osborne.
Professor
Osborne. I think
Professor
it was.
Osborne.
Yeah, apparently back in the 90s, nothing was going on, so we really cared about what was going on in an archaeological dig in Japan because all over the news they're talking about. Well, there was a beheading, so that is kind of newsworthy.
Well, there's that. I mean, back in those days, we didn't. Fuck it. I had my goddamn Jeopardy ruined because of this Tulsa shooting that happened recently.
How dare they?
And then the next night, they tried to...
Now you know how the people in Uvalde feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know how it feels.
That's my Uvalde. I lost 10 minutes in Jeopardy.
I lost all of Jeopardy, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, they canceled
all
it
right.
for
I'm
the
sorry
night.
for your loss.
That's the only way we're going to get the old fucks to care about gun restrictions, though, is if Jeopardy keeps getting canceled for school shootings. So I think they're onto it. I think they're onto something.
I think you're right.
So just
the only way.
Just keep canceling the boomer shows for school shootings and like these horrible atrocities, and they'll be like, you know what? Fine, we're gonna have to do some gun law restrictions.
Here's my AK.
Here's my AK. Can I please watch Jeopardy?
I need my Mayim Bialik.
Mayim Bialik has a caboose that I need to watch every night.
So, is there an end to the story you brought up?
Why was I talking about
I don't
this?
know. All I know is...
Oh, because I was going to say, we were watching an archaeological dig on the news.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to educate people instead of terrorize them.
No, we still lived in a culture of fear even back
Oh, okay.
then. But yeah, so now we know, both our hero and villain know about Alex and about and her great eyebrows.
Right.
We go back to Japan. Alex is studying rock. There's some like ruins on it, and she's deciphering it. There can only be one, and then she just rubs her chin. Like,
It makes no sense because there's so many of everything. What could there only be one of?
It can't be papaya.
Can be papaya.
Because we found a lot of huffs of papaya and butt meat everywhere.
So much.
Jerkied butt meat.
Wait, the flesh still remains?
Well, he jerkied it, yeah.
Oh,
So,
I think you need airflow for jerky.
well, the head... That's another thing. So, a Highlander can suffocate, can't they? And they die. So, do they go in like a Dracula type state where they're just like...
Yeah, I feel like they've had to wait until, because clearly got crushed by rock. They suffocate. They remain dead.
So they're like in a catatonic Dracula state.
Yeah,
That makes it. They didn't have to eat any ass. His Griff just like vomits in the sink.
God damn it! Why are we not doing the history, the lore of Highlander right now?
There's a lot of ground to cover.
So they were dead, suffocated under the rocks, completely out, totally vampire style, until the mountain kept shifting enough, because obviously everything moves, tectonic plates. Let's talk tectonic plates here. And so it shifted and shifted until they finally got a little bit and they started coming back. But there had to be some amount of time there where they just got enough air, the rock shifted off their chest enough where they came back too. So they probably did spend at least 80 years with like a rock on their chest, not being able to do anything. Probably just playing like I Spy. I Spy a little crack in the
all rock.
That's all rock. That's all we can do.
Well, she's deciphering that. Food shows up with the brim not bent, perfectly straight. It's like,
perfect.
Hey, do you hear? You hear there's some beheadings in New York too. You think there's any connection to the beheadings that we saw? Found? And she's like, I'm going to New York to find out.
Why are you going to New York to
Give me that swatch of kilt. I'm going to get that analyzed while I'm in New York.
Right. So she works at a museum, as we're going to find out shortly here. But we got to go to some more fun.
Right.
I can't wait. This is a good one.
Kane, he's at the red light district in New York, Times Square. He's checking out the blow-up dolls. And this guy's like, blow-up dolls? A man like you needs real pussy.
Right.
I got the best pussy. It's going to cost you extra for the clean sheets. Remember, this is the Exterminator took place in New York too. This is the same place.
This is the exact same
Do you
place.
want a young boy? I'm just saying. He's like,
Yeah.
that was another lifetime ago.
Yeah.
I'm into Asian broads in this lifetime.
Oh, we got the Asian broad for you.
Because he's supposed to be playing an Asian guy. He's supposed to be Mongolian.
Yes.
Because he does mention he's going to try out some white pussy, but he prefers Asian later on.
Right.
But he's like, yeah, you got an Asian woman for me? And he's like, fuck yeah, I do. So then he takes him up to the room.
So
This woman, poor woman. Totally. This would not pass muster. This would not pass the smell test in 2022.
Oh my God, no. Okay, PG-13.
Yeah.
PG-13 movie, everybody, and we're about to see some tits and ass.
Yeah.
But yeah, we walk in there, and she is doing...
And the woman, too.
Oh, yeah.
We
and
do
the
get to see
woman,
Mara
too.
Van People's tits.
This
and
is
ass.
true.
But yeah, she's totally full on racial stereotype. Me so horny, me love you long time.
Oh boy.
And he walks out, he's shirtless. Apparently, he stopped to get some tribal tats.
Yep.
Because this is 94.
Right.
Tribal tats were hot.
Exactly.
He had a tramp stamp. He had
He did
He's got
have
the
a-
nipple piercings. He's loving New York,
And
1994.
I did notice on his bicep the nice I heart NY. He's been here for like a day, and he's already in love with the city.
Right. Well, how can you not be? It's a city that never sleeps.
Right.
Griff.
As soon as you fucking fuck with, the street hustlers, you're just like, this is the best city ever. He probably got a
Right.
slice with that $20. Probably a lot of
Shit.
slices.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Best because it's the water, Griff. That
It's
makes
the
pizza
water.
taste the best.
Oh my God, yeah.
Nothing but cheese on. He said, "Don't you dare put a pepperoni slice
It makes
on
it too
that."
greasy, and I'm going to be
Right.
murdering people. I think
This
I'm
is
gonna fuck a
well.
broad
This is
tonight.
this is how real pizza is, Griff. It's just cheese.
Yeah, that's
You've
right.
heard that. The great Brian Last taught
Great
us
Brian
that.
Last taught us. And how to appreciate rancid like he does.
Right. So she's like, no glove, no love, baby, because she's not immortal. She'll
Right.
get the AIDS and she'll die.
Right.
And so she throws a condom in his face. He catches it, and he pulls it out. He's a guy. He's like, I don't fuck. He's like, I'm immortal. I don't fucking put condoms on.
Yeah.
Let's see what it tastes like. Because
I bet
it did say flavored. So he's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to try it.
Yeah. He has been eating ass in a cave for a very long time.
Yes.
As we've
And he's getting
yeah.
ready to eat some ass right now.
And this explains it. This is what I was talking about before, because he throws it away. And
Pulls
after
out his Chinese sticks.
Yup.
It's like, I'm gonna eat your ass. And I'm gonna be hungry for it 15 minutes later. I never got that. You ever hear that joke?
What's that?
Chinese food. You eat Chinese food 15 minutes
I've
later.
always-
I never understood that joke.
Yeah, I've always heard that too, and I was like,
Yeah.
no. After I eat Chinese food, I'm like, I'm done eating for the next week because it's just like starchy chicken and starchy right. I mean, our horrible American version of Chinese
Right.
food that we eat. But yeah,
So he just fucks the shit out of her. He didn't pay for the clean sheets. They were filthy.
Yeah.
There's stains all over it. There's
I mean,
ginty juice all over
he
it.
Tysons her. He leans in real close, bites a chunk of her ear off.
She's into it. She likes the rough stuff.
Yeah, and she
Costs extra, but she likes it.
exactly. So those sheets are no longer clean. There's blood all over them.
There's a lot of fluids.
Yeah.
And like you said, PG-13. We're getting some tits.
He rips her little skirt off.
Right.
And so we see some side ass there. She's got the fishnets on. I'm sure you're a big fan of that.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice.
So yeah, we get a lot of tits, a lot of side ass in there, and then we just cut away. To her screaming. She's
Yes.
not. She's either having a really good time or a really bad time.
Yeah, you might have killed her. We don't know.
We don't know.
Cut to Steen. Sten, the lieutenant. He is at the morgue with the body of the one goon that Conor had killed. And they're like, "You're not going to believe this shit." And coroners are always the same type. They always have Walkman on for some fucking reason.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be that the recording thing, but why do you have the headphones on?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's just like, "You're not going to believe this shit." Aside from the beheading, this guy's body is like perfect. There's nothing wrong. He doesn't have cavities. He doesn't have anything wrong with him, and he has no ID. We don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Right. I cleaned out his teeth, and it seems that there's human flesh like up in between his teeth.
I tasted it. It's kind of like butt tasty.
It's got a butt taste to it.
It's got a butt tang to it.
So for some reason, we have Sten in here to follow along a storyline that we
Well,
don't give a
because
shit about.
No, because he's still like, it's that fucking Nash. It's him.
But what purpose does it serve that the police are after him? It serves as a distraction because
Yeah.
they had nothing else to do with this
that's
movie.
all it is. It's just
Like,
a distraction. It's
we-
just to let us know that somebody is on to Conor.
Okay.
And he might foil his plan. I don't fucking know. So we go back to Alex. She's in New York. She's at the museum. She's with a geek. Because we know he's a geek because he had a computer.
Right.
He's got the fucking Professor Osborne set up. All these Commodores like piled on top of each other.
Keyboards all over the
12
place.
keyboards.
Oh, man.
He's like fucking playing in the fucking band Yes. He's got all the keyboards everywhere.
Hell yeah.
And he's just like, you're not going to believe this shit. I've traced the lineage of this special tartan fabric because this, I don't know if I'm reading this right, but I think it was when Conor came back to life, his family, like, they thought he was a demon or some shit, so they like kicked him out of the clan.
Yeah.
So Conor came up with his own, or no, what they did was they changed the McLeod tartan to a different one.
Okay.
So what that means is they can place this specific McLeod tartan to wherever he became a Highlander.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's what it is.
I think that's the best effort or best shot we have to get in that right, because I don't have a fucking clue what was happening. They're holding up a little square. It was a perfect little square.
Perfect square. Got ripped off, but it's perfect square.
Perfect square, and they're comparing it to the monitor, which is the worst resolution ever. I'm pretty sure this was an old program I used to have as like an encyclopedia program or whatever, and you could, because that's what it looked like when, what's her name? Alex was playing around with it later on. Looked like something.
But she's like, why would a Scotsman's kilt be in Japan? I know. I heard there's a guy who's an expert in Scottish antiquities.
Yeah.
Named Nash. I'm gonna go check him out.
Since he lives here.
In New York. All right, now, but now I think the guy fucks off, and she's like still looking. At some
yeah, we're
shit.
supposed to assume that many hours have passed. She's working late into the night because this
burning
is
that midnight oil.
This is everything to Alex.
Right.
Just doing these archaeological, fact findings and everything. So she's working late.
She's a regular Indiana Jones.
They have her office just set up in the middle of the exhibits and everything.
Yes.
Like, this is shit that people are supposed to walk up and see, and then her computer is just there.
Yeah.
So
she's just taking over the museum.
Right. This is all my office.
And so we see a condor flies into the museum.
Yeah.
And we get that bad of cartoony effect, and it turns into Kane.
Right.
So he can transform into condors now.
So he starts telling Alex about reality.
He's just creeping on her.
He's really close to her. And by the way, Alex does not give a shit.
Yeah.
A man has just broken into the museum.
Which should have tons of security. It's a
Tons of
museum.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just broken. Yeah. And I don't know. Her
And
surviving the streets.
he still is wearing his samurai armor.
Yes. And he's got those weird bangs.
That's the worst.
A septum ring. Like, all the shit that in 94 was probably pretty goddamn rare to see.
No, that was pretty common.
Oh, it was common? Okay.
Septum rings and tribal tattoos. Yeah, that was when it was hot as shit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But
he had a tramp stamp, for fuck's sake. He said, I love New York. The heart was right above his butt crack.
It's perfect. That's where you get it. Yeah.
Right.
It
that would have been a great scene. Maybe it was a cut scene. He's getting the tattoo.
Yeah. That one should have been in there. Yeah. It would have been more fun. Oh,
so yeah, he's creeping on her. I think he just finds out where Conor lives. I don't know what the fuck he does.
Well, yeah, he's just creeping on her. He's like, I saw you on TV. You're really good. And she's like, okay. Not fazed by this at fucking all. And then he's like, oh, I can do this. And then he like makes an illusion appear and disappear. And she's like, what the fuck is going on? Still not really that bothered.
No, she lives in New York. She's seen it all.
Exactly. And when suddenly like a fax comes in and it has Conor McLeod.
Yeah, that's it.
That was why we had this scene.
Yes.
That is why we had this scene. We needed Alex in this movie.
He's like, yeah, you're exactly right. So she was like, Conor McLeod. I think his address was on there too.
Yes.
And then he leaves. He just disappears. But before he leaves, there's a little diorama of the village that he destroyed in the beginning of the movie, because this is all like the mountaineering like exhibits.
Yes.
And it bursts into flames.
Right.
And once again, she knows sells that. She's like,
She didn't even I was like, wait, did the museum burn down?
Yeah.
No, nothing. Scene just ends here.
So now Alex, she's got to talk to
Still, this horrible thing just happened. She's like, I got to go check on this other
Right.
stranger I know nothing about in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so she goes to Nash, in quotation marks, Connor's place.
Aren't we supposed to assume that Nash lives in a terrible neighborhood too? Because Nash was trying to head home when he got confronted by cholos in a car and got shot. And she's just going to go there by herself.
Hey, she's a New Yorker. She's used to it. She heads to Nash's place. She's sitting in her, she's waiting. He comes out. I guess she sees him come out.
Yeah, it was. I think she like went to the door and then rushed back to her car or something. But she does.
I don't know.
She does just watch him get into his car.
He gets in his Porsche. He takes off. She follows, and then Lieutenant Sten follows her because he's been staking out Conor for like couple days now.
Right.
And he's getting ready for I guess, because we said, like, Conor fights with a claymore, but I guess he whoever his enemy is, he adapts to their style. So he's like, I got to work on my katana skills because this guy uses katana.
Maybe.
Because the Kurgan used the big fucking claymore, too.
Okay. Which makes sense, where they were.
We're just breaking down so much shit with Highlander now. We're explaining it all. You should be thanking us, people.
You really should. I mean, come on. We're, like, jumping forward the research on Highlanders 1,000 years, probably. Like, the butt-eating explanation alone has got to be worth so much time.
So much cryptocurrency.
So
he's with his buddy, another white guy, 2 white guys doing the fucking katana fights.
Right. We're at the Japanese Ancestral Cultural Center or something. Okay. So it's supposed to have some kind of religious tie-in as well.
Well, there's like a Buddhist shrine.
Because it's got to be a holy ground. Because that is the other thing they were like, oh yeah, Highlander has this logic where they can't do a quickening in a holy site or something.
They cannot. Yeah, that was from the first movie, too.
Yes,
they cannot fight in a holy. Yeah,
right. That's what I was saying. They actually did. Where they're like, oh yeah, this is a nice way to have them meet up. Anyways, so 2 white guys.
Yeah, they're just doing their katas. Him and Matt Pike.
Yep.
Hey, you're doing pretty good, Kati. You learn fast. And he's like, well, I gotta get high. Lizard people, and he walks away. And then, kind of like you said, they got the reflecting like waterfall thing. It's like it's supposed to be something you contemplate and like meditate. He puts his filthy hands in it, it's rubbing his face with it.
Well,
puts a little on his dick to get the sweat off his junk.
You don't want to be chafing when you're practicing. Right. You don't want that. Oh, and then, of course, as he's doing that, he drifts into another flashback. I mean, you said it all. He was washing off his crotch rod. He's just like, oh, wow, this reminds me of something.
Him and Sarah back in the old French Revolution days.
I haven't had fucking chafing like this. It's that time I rode a horse with Sarah.
And then fucked her in a barn. So...
Oh, there's so much lice in that barn.
Yeah, so much lice in his fucking junk. Got the crabs. So they're riding a horse, and riding horses gets broads horny. We all know that. So he takes her to the barn. We have a nice Fabio moment. He's got the pirate shirt on. He takes her on the hay pile,
and she's got like that old style hair too. She's got like a beehive, and just like little strands are coming down as her bosom starting to overflow. Her what do they call them? Corsets and everything. Yeah. So you can't resist that.
I can't. Yeah.
I mean, if that's happening, you have to fuck that broad.
That's why it's called rolling the hay.
Exactly, rolling the hay,
rolling in the deep. And he bangs her, and then they're about to fuck for the second time. And then they're Pierre, Sarah, where are you? And they're like, oh shit, we gotta stop fucking.
Yeah.
And that's it. We cut back. No. Pierre goes, hey Conor, what are you doing? Oh, nothing.
Nothing. And he's like, you're fucking my niece, aren't you? Yeah, pretty good.
Get this. They need you back in Paris. We need the Marquis de Sade.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have to leave, sorry. And so he goes off to Paris.
Yeah.
His duty, he's got his duty. It's not to the booty.
Sarah calls it out. She's like, you're not coming back. And he's like, no, I'm not.
No.
I got a broad over in Paris.
Right. Got a broad in every port. So now we're back in the present.
Yep. Connor's trying to leave the Japanese Cultural Ancestral Buddhist Center.
Right. There's the huge book of the persistent truths or whatever. Every culture has it.
Every culture.
It's the ancestral book of perennial truths is what it was.
That's what it was, yeah. Good job.
So if they were in Maniac Killer's world, they would not be allowed to fight in that sex dungeon because in a way it is kind of a holy spot.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
So Alex, she meets him up. I don't know why she just didn't meet him at his apartment or set up a thing. I guess she wants to do a meet cute with him.
Oh, right. I don't know. Maybe she feels comfortable in the Japanese ancestral perennial
truth. So she's talking with him, and then out of nowhere, Kane just fucking attacks. But he should know by now. But I guess 400 years is a long time to hate because he forgets that you're not supposed to be fighting in a fucking holy place.
Right. Oh,
And Conor points it out. He's like, excuse me, holy place. And they're doing some renovations on this place.
Oh, yeah, they're doing some
There's
big time
scaffolding everywhere.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. Are they doing like a Michelangelo? They're painting the ceiling?
They're either doing that or Vince Russo booked this match or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think John Moxley set it up because there's a lot. Oh, the Young Bucks set it up because there's a lot of mini trampolines there. What the fuck are trampolines doing at a work site? I don't know.
Nothing about this scene makes any sense. The fights have already been bad, and this is by far the worst fight I think we've ever covered.
Yes. Maybe are they converting this ancestral Japanese perennial truth place into a circus because there's trapezes
It could
and
be
trampolines?
Maybe this is the first. Now we have them all over the place.
Is this a modern wrestling training gym too?
It could be
because there's a
that.
lot of trampolines.
It could be that, but I think they're turning it into one of those. What do they call them? Tramp zones? No, that can't be it. That's probably like some lady evening of the evening type of thing. But they have like those jump zones now, where it's just like wall to wall trampolines and shit.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're gonna repurpose.
There was a
this
ball
room.
pit too.
There was a ball
But they
pit
didn't
and a
use it.
foam square pit
Yeah.
thing
I
too.
don't know why they didn't use it. It was a climbing wall too.
Right. So Conor is trying to deflect this fight. He's like, but this is holy ground. There's the Book of Perennial Truths right over there. I'm sorry. We got to push through the accents. You know I can't do them. And, of course...
I mean, your Scottish accent's just as good as Lambert.
Just as good, thank you. His is just softer. He's soft about everything.
Soft and raspy.
Yeah.
Very sexy.
Oh, very sexy. That's why Sarah's fallen in love with him over hundreds and hundreds of years. She's always fallen for him again.
Can't be for his Columbo looks. But.
Yeah, it can't be for his...
So, yeah, they're like this. It's ridiculous. They're swinging on trapezes. And then Kane gets the better of him, and he slashes.
They are literally swinging like swashbucklers from boat to boat, just clanging swords. How could anyone get the better? This is so fucking stupid, and it's 8 minutes of just like, hi-ya!
Yeah, the choreography is when you were 5 and your buddies had sticks, and you just tried to hit the sticks together.
Again, Lambert's blind.
Yeah.
So this is a bad idea to begin with. And
God.
Lambert was like...
I just had a fucking Dan Lambert fucking flashback. Thanks.
I'm
It's
sorry.
Lambert.
Yeah, Lambert. I'm very sorry to do that to you. Oh, boy.
So Kane cuts his Connor's trapeze.
Yep.
So he's on top of him. He swings at him. This is how I read it.
Yeah, really good.
Okay.
No idea what's happening here.
Good, because I'm going to explain it. We're going to explain all the Highlander world to you people. He slashes at Conor, and he shatters Conor's sword.
Yes.
I think why that happened was, and then shit starts happening because they're fighting on holy ground.
Yes.
And if you do that, this is what's going to happen. You cannot kill a Highlander in holy ground. So even if you're like going right for his neck, it's going to stop. The sword's just going to stop.
Right. So you think he didn't have to block it?
No.
Okay. Because Conor goes up.
But that's why the sword exploded.
Yeah. He blocks it. Sword explodes. We see it turn into like fucking glitter. And then just all the glass in the building breaks. Almost like the quickening's happening, but there's no lightning. Just shit's happening.
It's anti-quickening.
And then it zooms in on like a Buddha statue or something.
Yeah.
And it gets really weird and ominous. And of course, Kane's just like, I guess 400 years isn't long enough, brother. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. I'll be a little more patient. And he just fucks off. He turns into a bird. And he flies out.
Right. Free as a bird.
So Conor just like gets back up.
Alex, stay away from me. I'm in trouble. Which, of course, women want you more when you say that
Right.
shit,
Well,
you know?
it doesn't help that he wasn't talking into her face. He got into her ear and ASMR'd her with that.
And she's like, I'm going to fix that guy. He's troubled. I'm going to fix him.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Like,
So as he just takes off, she walks out. Lieutenant Sten grabs her.
because he followed them, too.
He's ready to cock block.
Right.
He's like, let me tell you the real story behind this Russell Nash character. He takes her to a bar, which is what you would do if you're a cop.
Right. Did you try your drink yet? You should really drink your drink. And he got her a triple of scotch.
Right. And he's explaining, he's like, all the shit that happened in Highlander 1, even though he wasn't in Highlander 1.
Yes.
And then he tells her, and get this shit. 7 years, because this Highlander 1 take place 8 years. 7 years ago, your buddy Conor was with the woman who was from the first movie, who was his first original love. They were in Scotland, and they got in a car wreck. That bitch died.
Ooh.
He walked away, not a scratch. Isn't that kind of weird?
It's a little weird, huh?
And she's just like, it's kind of.
I think I saw that on a Murder, She Wrote episode.
Conor, he's back at home. He's feeling. Maybe he was doing some heroin because he's like, I gotta balance it with some OJ.
Right, and he goes into his fridge where he keeps a satchel of oranges, 84 of them, of course.
Right.
Picks one out, and we get this beautiful shot of him coming down with a chef's knife on it, and then we just cut back to the Revolution times.
Right. Because why, Griff? Reminiscent of the guillotine.
Yeah.
Great director. He did great job.
That was good. That was good.
Because he's been captured. He's in a prison in Paris. The king has got him.
Yeah.
Because he's part of the revolution to kill the king.
The Kinkolution with the Marquis de Sway guy.
Marquis de Sway. You're right. Marquis de Sade, who was also imprisoned by the king.
They were probably enjoying that.
I think Conor was Marquis de Sade.
Oh, okay. You think Conor was him.
That was another life, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why the chicks loved him, because he was whipping the shit out of them.
Right, because they're used to all this vanilla sex, and he's like, I got the chocolate sex here for you, ladies.
Right.
Yeah.
I got the chocolate.
Oh, he's got the Napoleon sex for them. Wait, isn't that the ice
Neapolitan.
cream? Neapolitan,
Yeah,
excuse
he's got
me.
chocolate, vanilla, and a little strawberry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's like ready to die, though. He's like, you know what? I've lived the life, because he's gonna fucking die. Because the guillotine, they chops your head out. Obviously, you're gonna die.
Right.
Where does the quickening go? Is it the nearest fucking Highlander gets it, or does it just dissipate?
This is right up there with when a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there. Does it make a noise? That is a very good question.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Where
Does an immortal get your? Does he become immortal? Does immortal absorb your quickening and become you?
Right. Maybe what happens is everybody that's there, the quickening shocks them, trying to go into their vessel, and explodes them because they can't handle it, because you have to be born a Highlander.
There's so many questions.
So many questions. See, that would be an episode too. If I was doing the Highlander, we would do the episode where you have the fucking guy just doing mainlining heroin. And then we would do this episode where a guy gets his head chopped off and everybody there isn't a Highlander and they get exploded because there's just nothing. There's nothing there. Yeah. And then maybe like the whole it's like a castle and all the suits of armors come to life because the energy doesn't know what to do, and then Scooby-Doo shows up.
Okay. Pierre is in there with him. He's like, I'm taking your place. And he's like, no, you can't. You're my friend. No, you're more important, Marquis de Sade.
You're the greatest warrior we have.
Right.
And not to mention, you're a warrior of the...
You're our greatest sex pervert, too.
Sex pervert, yeah.
And we know you invented the French tickler.
You're only halfway through your whole fucking sex book. You got to finish that shit.
Yeah, you got to finish
the world needs it. That's the most important thing.
You completed the chapters on sadism, no masochism. You need to finish. So we see, but he's like, no, I'm going to die. So we see who we think is Conor being put up to on the
very confusing for me.
Up to the guillotine. We see Sarah in the audience watching. Chunk head blow. It's like, oh shit, what have we been watching? Conor died 200 years ago. Who is this guy?
Yeah. And then we cut up to Conor watching himself get his head cut. I was so confused.
It was Pierre. He hit him on the head, knocked Conor out,
bonked him,
took his place.
All right, so we're back into the present times, and Alex pulls a grift, just invites herself over to somebody's house. She shows up. Connor's just like, I knew you would be here. Sister Alex, I knew you'd come. He whispered, when you ASMR in a girl's ear, she's got to come.
And he invites her in, and she's like you said, pulling a grift, looking at all. You know what? You can look at people's photographs. I'll say that. If people have photographs on the wall, you can look at it. Don't touch them. Do not touch them. Do not take them off the wall.
Yeah.
You can look at them. And he's noticing all these pictures of people from like 100 years ago, but it's like something about that one guy. Awful Photoshop of fucking Lambert put on like an old photo.
It was bad. Yeah.
And then we see... I'm not going to spoil it yet, but there's a picture that I was like, I zeroed in on it. I was like, who is that? But we'll get into that later.
Who am I? That was really good because I noticed that too. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Is that Babe Ruth?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, it was next to a baseball, so
Yes.
it makes sense. So
Did you catch who? Was it a Babe Ruth? Because do you see who signed the ball?
Well, according to Alex, it says McLeod on it. And I was like, wait, what? I don't remember any baseball player
It says
named
McLeod. Thanks for teaching me how to hit Babe Ruth.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. I'm a millennial.
Maybe
I don't know how to read script.
Babe Ruth was an immortal, and Conor killed him and absorbed his batting powers.
Oh my God! Talk about corked bat. He actually kept a sword in his bat just in case. People don't talk about that New York Yankees game.
It's a total mystery how Babe Ruth died. Nobody knows.
Right.
Now you do.
All right. And he did eat a lot of hot dogs and somehow stayed
That's
alive.
why he was so good at hitting home runs, because he had the power of the quickening.
Power of the quickening.
So he's like, excuse me, I have to make a phone call.
Did he make a phone call or did he get a phone call?
He gets the phone. You're right.
And if you've noticed, it is 4 a.m.
Yes.
And the airline has to call him. Hello? Your tickets for Glasgow are available.
While he's talking, fucking pulling a griff, she eavesdrops on the downstairs phone, listening.
He even notices because he's got like this belt. He is.
It's an open floor plan. Yeah.
He's in an abandoned building.
Yeah.
So
Those are all our heroes have the coolest fucking loft type apartment.
oh my God! I remember in Highlander 1, he had the sweet ass fuck pad, or maybe that was Highlander 2.
He had
I
that
think it was
little
2.
fucking hidden vault that had all his antiquities in it.
Yeah, that's right. But he's always bringing people into his abandoned building, sweet ass apartment, and of course, once they're in there, it's like he's got the grand piano laid out. He's got all the beautiful
Bearskin
art.
rug.
So of course, fireplace, John DeHart, just music. It's pressure sensitive bearskin rug, and so when you lay on it, the John DeHart starting over just starts up, and the ice cubes just lift out of the ground, and next thing you know, nipples.
Well, he is the Marquis de Sade. He knows how to bone a
right.
bone. So
Anyway.
she hears he's going to Glasgow.
And he notices, and he's just like, oh, she's so cheeky. This is the Sarah I've known and loved for 400 years. Oh, so yeah, apparently he's going to go to Glasgow.
And then she notices the paintings, like, wow, those eyebrows. That's me.
That's me.
Flashback. Now we see Sarah's moved on. We don't know how many years later this is from the guillotine scene, but she's moved on. She has a new husband and children. Because where the fuck did he? I guess he had something to do.
He did have to lay low. I mean, he's supposed to be dead. And he had to escape that cell
There was
somehow.
a child that was at least 7 years old. So let's say it's 7 years.
He was still in prison, so why did they let him go?
Because the revolution was over. They won. Their
They
side
won.
Yeah, they killed like Marie Antoinette and all those people.
Oh, yeah, let him eat cake.
Yeah. So, well, he said let him eat figs. It's the real
Figs.
Yeah. But fig cake. Let him eat fig sandwiches.
There we go.
So he's got his Napoleon hat on. He's ready. He's like, I'm ready to go to the bone zone. I've been fucking dudes in prison all this time.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I care too much for her. I'm not gonna.
I can't ruin it because obviously
he's also she had kids. The pussy's ruined. He's just like he's not gonna feel the same anymore. So he just fucks off and leaves.
He was all ready to corner her, helicopter his dick at her, because that was her thing. Like, that's how we got her in the stable.
Oh.
He stood over, helicopter. Next thing you know, she had the vapors.
That's
and they
the
were
thing.
fucking.
She was in his stable, and he moved on. He's
Yeah.
like, I got a new filly. I got a bone.
That's right.
Walks off.
So, back in present time, Alex is now asking all kinds of questions. She's an archaeologist, and this is a fucking archaeological dream house right here. There's all kinds of old shit in here. So she's trying to ask all these questions, and Conor's just playing it real fucking coy. Yeah, I guess it's pretty old.
McLeod. I've never heard that name before.
Never heard it.
And she's grilling him, and she's like, well, you know what? Fuck you then. I'm out of here.
She does grab the broken sword.
Yeah, she notices that.
And she tosses it at him. And then she leaves. So I don't know the significance of that either.
She's just frustrated. She wants to get fucked by this dude, and he's being coy.
She wants to not only know the secrets of his life, but the secret in his pants.
Right. And she leaves for the museum. There was a Nagano ingot. It's a big slab. We saw it earlier. He was forging it. It was just a slab of steel with the Japanese, I don't know what, kanji, what do they call that?
It might be kanji, I don't know. There's like 3 different types of script they use.
Yeah.
But
And so she's researching because she does her own research.
right again back at her office in the middle of the museum, and it just so happens that she's using it as a coaster. She reaches for her tea and knocks it over, and it cracks.
She actually has the computer on a dinosaur bones.
Yeah,
She made her desk out of dinosaur bones.
well, she doesn't care about that kind of history.
Yeah.
So it's like fuck it.
Well, because that's made up. That was God trying to trick us.
Right.
It's not real.
That's right.
So, yes, she is a biblical scientist. We'll just say that much.
Right. And so now that she has, she's looking at that ingot, and she notices the symbol, and she's like, well, I got to scan this into my computer now, because
Gotta
we
do
had
my
that
research.
technology.
Right.
Like, Google's barely figured it out today.
Where is she doing her research on the computer? There's no internet. 94? Were there access?
She had the programs. I told you.
Oh.
She had the encyclopedia program. So all she had to do was scan the picture, and it was like,
And we
good.
learned it says knowledge.
It's just knowledge, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it said knowledge, yeah.
Right. So this is where we get St. Connor's back in Scotland. He goes to the old castle he lived in with his first wife.
Yeah, he's explaining, he's doing a little narration here, explaining to the audience, like, I have to come back to where it's all began. I have to feel the power in the grass and the hills. I got to drink the scotch straight off the assembly line.
Right. So he goes to, and it's still there. The ruins are still there from like fucking 1,000 years ago.
Barely even grown over.
No, you're right. Barely.
Yeah.
Nothing's even collapsed. It's been 1,000 years.
1,000
but
years. They built buildings much more sound back then.
They did. That's true.
So,
And he searches. He finds this area. He's looking. He's like, yes, my smithing tools. And they're still in a burlap sack. It didn't even like disintegrate.
he finds his anvil first, and he's rubbing it up and down. And he's like, but this is useless if I can't find my smithing tools. And then, yeah, he chunks
He's got
off
the
another
maniac
piece.
killer nipple tongs
Oh,
and all that
yeah.
shit. And he's like, yes. While he's doing sword making, Alex is researching sword making. So we get some nice dual montages of her learning about sword making while
Right.
he's actually doing it.
I did like that the one screen she's looking at just says, katana means Japanese for sword.
Right. It says Dr. John, Dr. Joe Marshall.
Dr. Joe Marshall.
And
Samurai.
so they're doing this. So it's a nice dual montages of sword building. Kane, this is a great scene. Kane, weeks later, goes to Connor's. He learned about it. Like,
Time is irrelevant in this movie.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
it's like being immortal. It's a great metaphor for being immortal. Time is an illusion.
I like that. Okay, so again, that's another one that's under the hood,
Right.
but we've lifted
Right.
the hood. We've shown you this is where you put the oil in.
Right.
Time is an illusion.
Breaks into Connor's apartment, checking shit out. He goes to the desk. There's a Fabergé egg on it. He just smashes it because he's how evil he is. He can't appreciate beauty at all.
Yeah, I hate this Fabergé egg.
There is a framed photograph of Connor's orphan son, his real son, his orphan son John, autographed. It says, "To Dad, thanks for being a fan. Best wishes, John." Who the fuck autographs a picture to their parents?
Robert Ginty. You know we did that all the time.
Well, yeah, we got the autograph right here.
Exactly. It said, to Dad, love Ginty.
And so, but of course, this is we have to telegraph everything. So now he knows because it has to say, "From your son who loves you very much, Dad,
Yeah.
John." And he's like, "He has a son."
Yeah.
Because he knows that they can't have children, so it's got to
Right.
be an adopted son. And just as luck would have it,
This is microwave timing to the 9th degree.
we got to put that on our list of things to describe.
Oh, I
microwave
thought
time.
I did.
I don't know, maybe.
I think I did.
But he says he's staring at that beautiful picture of John. We get a phone call on the answer machine from John.
Hello, Daddy. It is me, your son, John. You may remember me from the autographed photo on your desk. I just want to say, you were supposed to be here in Marrakesh with me at our house, 18722 Marrakesh. I will go ahead and leave my phone number. Please send for me. I would like to come visit you in New York.
Right, no, yeah, I think he said, "I'm coming to visit you." Yeah, because...
I didn't think he said he was coming to visit because he leaves the phone number, the address, all the information. I thought what happened, in my brain what happened, is Kane called him did his illusion thing and was basically like, "It's me, your daddy. I'm gonna send you a ticket, fly
Yeah,
over."
it
Because
could
I thought
be.
that's what Jack explained later.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay. So, anyways, yeah, Kane is just puffing down on a cigar, like you said, like Wolverine.
Right.
Why not?
Why
Just
not?
good taste, you know?
Right. And it is the 90s. He had a bowling shirt on, and he was smoking a cigar.
Listening to Real Big Fish.
Classic douchebag.
He's a big-time ska fan.
And he loves swing dancing, too.
He loves
He's
it,
totally
yeah.
absorbing. He's living in the 90s.
Zoot Suit Riot.
Right. Cherry poppin' daddies. So, oh God, those 90s just were garbage.
He
I'm sorry,
was- people.
The 90s were garbage. The movies are garbage. The fucking music was garbage. If you lived there, you were garbage. So so Alex is like, I have to meet this man. He's just so amazing. I don't know. I guess everybody knows in the McLeod Castle because she just walks up on him as he's foraging.
This is either a fucking commercial for like erectile dysfunction or maybe coffee.
There was no because there would have been 2 tubs next to each other. They're sitting in them.
There was a waterfall. There should have been 2 tubs under it with them holding hands and slowly looking at each other. But yeah, this looks like a commercial, and she's walking up. Like you said, she knew he was in Glasgow. There's nobody else in Glasgow. I guess there's only one McLeod Castle on record, so it was like very easy to find. But he lives in the middle of nothing. So
Right.
you would have needed GPS coordinates to get to him, which in 94, not the easiest thing to do.
And when she meets him, she's just like, look, it's obvious you're immortal. Like, she just buys into all of it. Like,
Right.
and she's like, you're Conor McLeod. You're 1,000 years old. I want to be with you.
I need to be. Here's the thing. I cannot bring you in too close because then I have to push you away.
Which totally brings her in close.
Well,
He knows, he's had 1,000 years perfect his fucking game, his player game.
Oh,
so he
yeah.
knows he invented a lot of this shit.
Oh, yeah. He invented the yo-yo afterwards because he's like, this effect I have on women, it's like a yo, and then he invented the yo-yo after and called it the yo-yo.
And he also is the backer for the Yo Ho Ho porn strip club.
Go listen to
Murder, She Wrote.
Murder, She Wrote.
So yeah, and then we get the scene. She's just lovingly looking at him. He's just banging that metal, forging that sword, forging that katana.
He's got his billowy pirate shirt on again, just
Right.
barely laced up.
Somehow
pecs
he's got a
everywhere.
ponytail again.
His Scottish, beautiful mainland Highlander hair is back with the 1 or 2 braids in it. Oh man!
And then we get a nice montage of him doing sword training in nature. He's training in nature, which automatically means he's going to beat Kane. That's why there was no tension at all.
Right, and of course there's a scene of him like rowing a boat.
Rowing a boat for some reason, running along with his fucking fresh white Nikes.
Okay, but that was on the
Beach.
beach. That was reminiscent to
Yeah.
the first movie
Right.
with Ramirez.
Yeah, Ramirez.
Yeah, so everything was kind of working out there, but this is where she does give him the whole spiel. But I figured you out. My computer has all the information on you. I Wikipedia'd you. I did my own research.
Right.
She explains it all to him, and he's just like, well, fuck. The only thing left to research is these nuts.
Now, this is where we get a sex scene, but, Griff and I, as you already know, we're 2 hours into this episode. We can be very verbose about scenes. We can spend an hour talking about this sex scene.
Right. We don't do action shots very well.
No.
But the sex scenes, I mean, come on.
Right. Well, we're sex gods. Of course
We learned it all, I mean, from life experience, and then John DeHart kind of helped
Right.
really refine all of that.
But I just want to get to the meat of the matter, as it were.
Yeah.
So I found on IMDb a review of this sex scene that I am going to do an erotic reading of.
Yes.
Because it just cuts to the quick. It just tells you what it is. I apologize, you can thank me if anyone has an orgasm listening to this. I want to give credit. This guy, I think his name is Swedesen, because he's definitely... English is not his first fucking language. Because I'm going to read it. It's Swedzen. Actually, I want to credit him. I don't want to steal this guy's shit. Because, I'm going to read it. I wrote word for word. I didn't alter anything. This is exactly what he said. now for the highlight of review. Probably the best thing in whole movie film. Was no more, no less. The sex scene. The sex scene between Christopher Lambert and Deborah Kara Unger was more than impressive. Wow! They did it without a double. That was a real talent between the two of them. Good movements and good choreography during the, air quotes, sexual work, combined with a fuckable music during the scene. The sex scene music was more than exciting. It's like the band members were there watching the horny couple and they composed the music on the spot and say, all right, let's perform it. Damn! That was good. Too bad I can't find a soundtrack. For me, this sex scene is numero uno in the motion picture history. The best about Deborah Kara Unger, her performance in film, was so not interesting that everybody expect the same. Go on, Conor. Fuck her. Yeah. They did it. To mention about music, it was also a fine thing. It was good and relaxing. Highlander the Sorcerer film is nothing more than relax. Take it easy. But you'll get horny during the sex scene. Heh, heh. Swedson, you just nailed it, dude. This is exactly how we all felt watching this sex scene in a PG-13 movie, full frontal nudity.
That was good.
That was great.
That was really inspiring.
Yeah, it was hot. I'm sorry, man. You guys, pause, compose yourself, get back to us.
Oh, man. This is really impressive because, of course, we had to do all of our research on this man, and he is the #1 profiler on sex scenes in all movies. He is the Roger Ebert.
We'll be going to him
of sex scenes
for future
right.
sex scenes.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to get him on, but he is so busy.
Yeah,
because he's on every set now for HBO and all those TV shows that always have a fuck scene in them. Yeah. He's there. He's the guy. I wonder how he. That's
Swedson. Come on, you got to come on the show, Swedson.
Oh, man. And, of course, after you're done with the good fuck, you need to go down to a good fuck bar. Right. Good fucking bar, I mean.
You got to have some haggis. Get hungry.
You got that empty hole in your gut now from blowing loads and sweating out all your, bodily fluids. So you got to go get a refueling. And you do that at the most iconic, old-school Scottish bar you can find.
That apparently everybody knows because his buddy Jack in Marrakesh knows because he calls him there. Where are they staying? Are they staying in a hotel? Are they staying at the castle? Just sleeping out in nature?
That's what it seemed like Conor was doing. He was just sleeping in nature. Because he's been like, I haven't been here in so long. And all the grass is overgrown and everything. So where did he stay? And how did he end up here? And how did Jack know how to find him here? Is Jack a Highlander? Does he have a Highlander tracking system? There's so many good questions here.
I don't know, but all I know is Jack calls up. He's like, can I speak to Conor McGregor? Or Conor McLeod. He's also, by the way, Conor McGregor is an immortal. He's a Highlander.
Yeah, okay.
But, and they're like, yeah, hold on a second. Laddie. I got some fucking haggis. And he's like, hold on to your kid, laddie. Conor gets like, Conor, where the fuck are you, man? I sent John to New York. Well, you called us.
Why are you in Scotland? You're supposed to be in New York to pick up your son.
How did he know he was in Scotland? Because he assumed he was in New York.
I have no fucking clue. Did he call his travel agent? Does he have... Maybe. That's the best we can do here.
So Conor's like, we got to get onto a plane to New York stat.
That's my other episode of my Highlander fucking anthology series. Is there going to be one? Every Highlander has a travel agent. They're moving all over the place. Of course they're going to have a travel agent. And that's their main line of contact. That's how you get a hold of a Highlander.
Well, yeah, pre-internet and pre-cell phone days, you had to.
Yeah, exactly. They had to plan it out, get you the trips, get you the hotel.
So talk about microwave timing, Griff. There must have been a layover in Hoboken that John had to do because they all arrive at the airport at the same time, and they'll all go through customs at the same time.
So the police find out that a McCloud is coming to the airport. So even Lieutenant Sten is on his way to the airport. We got Jack. Jack? Who's Jack?
John.
Oh yeah, John arriving there
with his fucking MAGA hat on and backwards, of course.
Yep.
It is the 90s.
You got Kane arriving there. You got McCloud and fucking Alex arriving there. And of course,
Kane pulls. And you could do this pre 9/11. Kane pulls up in a Cadillac, parks right outside the airport, and just walks out and walks into the airport.
Right,
which you could do back in those days.
True.
And so Kane spots Alex. He's like, because there's a scene like, what, are you traveling on your own? You're 5.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for my dad. Goes through. We see like
Conor and
Alex.
They get stuck in a line. Line for
but
what?
First of all, this is the most ridiculous thing of all. Conor cuts in front of some black women, and they let him do it. That would never happen in a million years.
Yeah.
That black women would let a white guy get in front of them in line. But they let him. It's a movie. We'll suspend disbelief.
So they're just standing there in line.
Yeah.
When they look up, because they're on the first floor, and there's like a second floor walkway that you can see through.
And we see little John. And we see Kane, and he's walking, and then he goes in front of like a pillar or something, and he comes to the other side, he's fucking Conor.
Oh, shit.
And
so Conor, of course, springs into action, but they're too far away.
Right.
So we get to see that Kane gets little John into his car, and he's still like disguised as Conor.
Right.
As he's
get in there, you little brat.
Yeah, and then he's like, that's not something my daddy would say. And so they get in the car, he like locks him. He's got the child safety lock engaged.
Right.
I didn't even think they had those in 94.
Yeah, I think they did, yeah.
And then he fucking transforms himself back into Kane, and he's like, we're going to go for a fun little ride, buddy.
And so Conor chases, this is pre 9/11, but there was actually some security at the airports back then, so they grab Conor.
Yep.
Sten grabs him.
I mean, he's been out for him for years.
I'll give Griff a pass because last time we talked about Highlander was 3 years ago, but this next scene is a total ripoff of the scene from Highlander where the Kurgan carjacks an old lady and then goes on a joyride. So we get.
I couldn't remember.
I fucking hated this. Did I say in the beginning? This was so long ago. This is the scene I hated the most.
Oh, you didn't?
It was so fucking cartoony, and
it was really bad.
First, somehow they wind up on the fucking tarmac of the airport,
right?
And then they're driving. They're playing chicken with an airplane,
right?
And so, like you said, now he can go. He's like a ghost. He can go through. Because at first I was like, he's fucking with a kid, and the airplane's an illusion. But no, I think they went through the fucking real airplane.
The power of the magic here, they did a terrible job with. We got to see that he could make things look like something else, but now it's like suddenly he's phasing through shit. He's like doing all kinds of shit that makes no sense. But for a movie that was incredibly boring, this over-the-top stupid scene, you're right, it was very Looney Tunes. It was dumb. But I was like, finally something different at least.
He's driving down roads like playing chicken with cars. He rips the fucking steering wheel off and hands it to John.
Yeah.
The car's on fire.
Yep.
You know.
At one point, he kicks the door out, the passenger door, and holds the kid's face like right above the street flying by. But we're getting all that happening, and then we're getting cuts over to Conor in interrogation.
Right, and they're like, as you would think, they're like, we have nothing on you. Sten has a hard-on for you for some reason.
Why did we have so many cuts back to this scene when they're just like, we got nothing?
Yeah. So I guess we're going to have to let you go.
Right.
So Conor returns home, and then he gets the message from Kane on the answering machine. And, he's like, meet me at the mission in Jersey City at Route 1. We're going to finish this. And you'll never see your son again. And you hear, Daddy, save me.
Of course, Alex just happens to be there with him. I guess
she's in love with him now.
She's in love with him, of course.
She's been reincarnated. That's Sarah. That's not fucking Alex.
Oh, right.
And he gives her a ring, which he does all the time. He's got like a fucking little thing of rings that he hands to these broads. And he's like, this will show my love for you. I will be back.
He can never take him on the first meeting because he's got to find the ring at home that he's going to... Because he was wearing the ring and then he gave it to her. So... Who knows if do they have the same finger size and everything?
Yes.
Apparently.
That's his kink. Fingers.
Oh,
He
he's a hand guy.
He likes really stubby, thick fingers.
Oh,
like a
okay.
midget. And they showed it, this like Danny DeVito hand, and he puts a ring on it, and it floats up. And then he walks off, heading to Jersey City. So now he arrives by taxi. He's got the Porsche. I don't want to take the Porsche.
I don't know why he wouldn't take... I guess because he doesn't want the cops to get him again?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
He arrives at the mission. He walks in. Remember, they can't fight. This is holy ground.
It's a holy ground.
It's the Alamo. And we see John there. He's like, Daddy! And he runs to him. And does it turn into Cain?
It disappears.
Oh, it disappears?
It just completely disappears.
And then Cain is at the altar. He's like, I fooled you again. And he's like, meet me outside for the final battle. Then he just disappears.
He phases in front of a nice Jesus statue.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, okay. Where am I supposed to go now? Well, it just so happens...
Behind the mission.
Yep, behind the mission. Just like one of our favorite movies, Con Air,
Right.
where we had the bar right next to the oil rig and everything.
Right.
They have the little church, the little mission here, right next to the giant...
It's a steam and fire factory.
Yeah,
steam. That's all it was. All it did was shoot fire and steam everywhere.
Yeah.
And so he walks into the factory... And there's all catwalks everywhere, of course.
Of course. Stairs that lead to nowhere.
Right.
This is where they got the idea, Stairway to Heaven. They were just
Right.
like, oh, yeah.
Well, like we were saying, the place where Ginty lived in his place. It's a stairway. It's like an Escher painting. Stairs are everywhere. And a fucking predator fucking frisbee goes flying at Conor out of nowhere. I'm like, whoa, is the Predator going to interrupt this? That would be some fucking crazy shit.
Now we're talking. If you're going to do a crossover, Predator, Alien, okay, you guys fucked that up. Now let's fuck up Predator versus Highlander.
That would be amazing, because it'd be hard to kill a fucking Highlander.
I could think of some pretty good battle scenarios. And you could definitely have a Predator think he's won, walk over to the Highlander on the ground, and then trip over and land on, a fire poker that he's sticking up at him.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of cat and mouse shit going on. And then Alex shows up. And she's like, Conor, I'm over here. Come to me. So he goes across this catwalk, but it's not a catwalk. It's a fucking illusion. He's a sorcerer. So Conor barely makes it. He grabs the edge of the catwalk that Alex is sitting on. She pulls him up.
And then they're having like a nice little moment here where they're breathing heavily, but it's like comforted. And then suddenly Conor pulls out a sword and fucking stabs Alex.
Right, because he sensed.
Yeah, illusion
It's
of
Cain.
an illusion.
He never trusts Cain. Well, he knew. He knew.
After that,
Alex is still at home staring at that ring. Like, he's mine.
Yeah,
he's played this game.
He's
so
done
many
this
times.
so many times. Right.
Like,
Well, at that end, he said. So when we were in that scene, he whispered something, and we saw a close up of his mouth, and I couldn't figure out what he said. Now I understand. Stay here, bitch. That's what he said, and of course
she just swoons.
Yeah, exactly. So she probably went to work in the kitchen, and he hadn't been there in 8 years, so there's probably a lot of dusting that needed to be done.
And he's like, "Yeah, make me a fucking turkey pot pie, bitch."
When I get back home, I'm not cutting up a fucking orange. I want to be cutting a turkey pot pie.
Right.
Haggis pie.
But he made a mistake stabbing Cain, because Cain now has two swords, because he's immortal. He just takes the sword out and he's got two swords. Like, oh, this wouldn't be fair to a guy attacking a guy with no sword. But I don't care about being fair.
I mean, that's what a villain would do. So good job on that one. They have awful fighting. It just ends up going all over the place for a few minutes here.
Conor somehow gets his sword back.
So he falls onto another catwalk, and his sword falls next to him. So he picks it up, and then suddenly Cain's running at him. And so he chops Cain right in half.
Slices him in half.
But we have another Looney Tune moment
Right.
where the bottom half of his body continues, and his torso is just floating there.
Yeah.
And then he goes...
He's not floating. He's actually holding himself on the hand sides of the catwalk.
Okay, that was what it was.
Yeah. It's believable.
Okay, very believable.
Yeah.
And then he tells, hey, Lex, get back over here. And it...
It was awful.
And then he just kind of wiggles himself back together.
So they can do that. We learned that. I explained it. I asked about it earlier.
You did. That's true, yeah.
So yeah, they're having a good old time, and then they engage in the boringest fucking sword fight. For some reason, a Muzak version of Motley Crue's "Dr. Feelgood" starts. But I am not making that up. Maybe you can play a little Dr. Feelgood. And it's just boring bullshit. And Conor just starts slashing Kane's back, and that incapacitates him somehow.
It's a terrible sword
He
fight.
just got cut in half and just brushed it off. Now he's incapacitated by getting slashed across the back.
So apparently his power, because obviously he was doing an illusion there, and now he's not
Was
powerful
he?
enough to do an illusion, or maybe he what? I don't know. Like the build up for Kane's Achilles heel was awful. He just hits him in the back with the sword. None of this played into it at all.
He doesn't even stab him. He just slashes his back.
him, yeah.
But that stuns him, and they think, I'll see you in hell. I'll be the judge of that. And he chops Kane's head off. Very, very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But the quickening comes, and he finally absorbs the last quickening. This is it, Griff. He's finally a true mortal. He's got the prize.
You think this place would have exploded? I mean, it's steam and fire.
You would
It's
think.
literally like
Well, a mountain came down, for fuck's
exactly.
sake.
This is literally just like a bomb factory, and no quickening comes through, and it's the most quickening of all quickenings.
It's the sickening quickening.
Because we're supposed to believe that these guys basically are equals, which means they both have 50% of the other Highlanders in the world.
Right, yeah.
So it's 50-50. So now he's 100% Highlander. The quickening that would be quickening here has got to be insane. It'd be
It
like
would be thickening, the quickening.
yeah, it'd be the thickening quickening.
Right.
It would be like taking the full container of Nesquik chocolate and pouring it into 8 ounces of milk.
Powder everywhere.
It'd be powder everywhere. You wouldn't have any milk. You would have sludge, maybe, if you're lucky. So this
That's a perfect encapsulation of the quickening, Griff.
Thank you.
Nestle quickening.
It's like quickening. Oh my god, how we happen on these things?
We're geniuses. What can I
Geniuses.
say? So he collapses from that, and John, Daddy, runs to him. You did it all for the nookie, Daddy, because he's still got his Fred Durst
Damn
hat
it.
on. And he helps him up, and now they're a family now. But he doesn't really, because now that he can knock a chick up, he doesn't need fucking John anymore. I would just turn him loose.
Right. Once he has the first
You're not
kid,
my flesh and blood.
right? Once he has the first kid with Sarah, he's be like, yeah, I really just don't care
Yeah, I've been
about you
thinking
anymore.
maybe he just sits little like 10-year-old John. Maybe you need to move out. I think
yeah.
you know.
Well, the relationship's already fucking weird because he's just like, I'm just gonna go for a while. See you later, son. And then he ended up in Glasgow and didn't call his son. His son literally said, "Please call me when you get home to New York." And he took him by the shoulder and said, "No, you call me." He's that fucking shitty. He's like, I'm not gonna call this kid who I supposedly love.
He's a player.
He's even playing his quote unquote son.
So he goes back to the motherland with his new woman and his son, and it's finally over. And then we see he does a touching moment where he goes to where his wife was raped and murdered, and puts a candle, lights it for, because she said, "Light a candle for me, Highlander, whenever you're in town." He does that. He's like, "That's the last time I'm going to do that."
Yep.
And then he throws him a cloud sword, which has McCloud on it, into
Yep.
the dirt, and they drive off. And then we see a little quickening lightning.
He
hit.
tells his wife,
Yeah.
I have a wife and I have a son. It's finally over. He's using his sex voice for his dead wife right now. So even he's like, she was a good fuck. Maybe my voice could bring her back. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the prize can do that. So there would be an episode of my anthology series about the Highlanders with that. Like, there would be one Highlander who could wake the dead with his
Well,
sexy
trust me,
voice.
when this episode comes out, we're going to be hearing from the Highlander people about our ideas.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. These are the best
We're
ideas.
going to be like,
Yeah.
co-create. We're going to be executive producing this shit.
Just like you said about Star Trek, we're going to have one-off episodes.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
not doing an
Oh, no.
overarching
No.
story. No, none of that bullshit. We're going to teach you nice little life lessons in one episode, and then they're going to be gone.
Yeah.
You know what? Our main Highlander character might not even be in every episode because we're going to tell the whole Highlander story.
Yes.
It's gonna
Because
be a
there's
good
many
show.
Highlanders.
There's so
And their
many.
stories need to be told.
Right.
There's at least 2 because the TV show was a different Highlander.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
There we have it.
Hope you enjoyed Highlander: The Final Dimension. I don't know. Maybe in another couple years we'll go back to the next movie because I believe that's where they do the handoff, where Lambert is in it for a few minutes and he hands it off to the TV guy.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I haven't seen it.
Maybe. Who knows? Like we said, we might be shaking out, awake all the Highlander fans out there. So
They're like
maybe,
a snow globe of fandom.
Exactly.
We're shaking them up.
Maybe someone will show up and say we need to do 4. I've got all the research on it already. I got perfect commentary for the sex scenes.
All right, another horrible movie. I need a good one. I need a fun movie. I thought this movie was gonna be fun. It was not. It was dreary. I need a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
I got that movie, Griff. 2 guys making their return to the theater. Jim Kelly, we love. We've done, actually, I think 4 Jim Kelly movies. But we've only done 1, and he was only like a minor character in that movie. Ring of Steel. Go back and listen to it.
Great
Mr. Joe Don Baker makes his return to the theater with a little movie called Golden Needles. Which I've been wanting to do. It's the main theme of Golden Needles is the power of or the lack of power of small dick energy, and you'll learn all about that when we discuss it next week. So that's all there is, and I got no more to say. Keep it warm.